Oh, that was that. Wait, that's Kick It with a Tasty Groove.
That's right. Kick it with a tasty groove, motherfucker.
My bad.
For fuck's sake. Jacob,
Yes.
are you pumped?
Pumped?
Yeah, are you pumped? Are you stoked? Are you excited?
Uh,
Is your energy up? Are you feeling a little like got adrenaline coursing through those veins?
no, not really. Sorry. I hate to be a daddy downer.
I was gonna make a daddy joke, and I'm like, I don't think that's. No, we're not gonna go there. Not
Why
yet.
not? We've gone there many times before. What makes this the exception?
I was gonna be like, I don't know if you're daddy material, Jake.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm not so certain I am these days anyway. So yeah. That's a fair statement.
Yeah, you know, everyone's taste is different.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks. I get it.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that we come off, from like right off the start. We got good energy. We're stoked. We're excited. I was concerned with our last episode that like maybe we didn't come off as excited or thrilled to be talking about Chrono Trigger as we really are.
Well, but I like to land flat on my face like Ric Flair does.
That's true. Yeah, but you weren't doing a Ric Flair. You were doing like I was gonna say Nick Flair, but I think that's his dead son.
Oh yeah, that's a little.
I didn't mean to do that. I'm trying to think of just like dollar store version of Ric Flair. Rather than doing like an epic
just bam.
Yeah, like an epic flop. Like you just laid down. We sounded like we were half asleep for about half of the last episode, and I don't want that to happen again.
Well, I mean,
it was only like for the first little bit.
I mean, we are 40 now.
That's true. God, Jake, we're so fucking old.
We're not just old; we're fucking old now. When did we cross that threshold?
That's true. I mean, at least
because I missed it.
God damn it, Jake. Talking about, speaking of old, before we get down to the Chrono Trigger goodness, I got some internet observations I'd like to kind of talk about a little bit up front.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah. Buckle up, motherfucker. Well, you don't use social media very much, so I thought maybe on occasion it's interesting to update you on the goings-ons. So,
well, I like to lurk a lot.
Yeah.
So, I'm the king lurker. So.
Yeah, you're quite. Now I just imagine you like outside a girl's bedroom, like staring through the window in the dark.
Take it what you will, man. If that's what if that's what you think of me, well, I guess that's your opinion. But honestly, I don't do that sort of thing.
I would hope not. I've largely abandoned the app known as Twitter.
Okay.
I don't use it very much, but I still use social media a lot. Like my Facebook usage has actually gone up quite a bit over the last, 3-4 months.
Okay.
And at first I was trying to keep up, on the damn Chocobo Facebook, but just posting memes and stuff. But then I just forgot. But on Twitter, I used to get a lot of gaming news and a lot of jokes and memes and comic book stuff, and I don't really get that on Facebook as much, and it bums me out. But I did join a bunch of fucking groups just for to talk about specific games.
And just spam our feeds.
Well, not on the damn Chocobo one, on my personal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Although I also did that a long time ago for damn Chocobo.
Yes, I'm still thanking you for that.
You should. I didn't realize the consequences, and I never went back to fix it. So I've joined a whole bunch of Resident Evil, Final Fantasy, and Metal Gear fan groups on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of interesting seeing how these groups are similar and different on Facebook, at least.
So Metal Gear, Resident Evil, and Final Fantasy, correct?
Correct.
Are the groups? Okay. Well, I mean, they are all RPGs, so they do have a similar thread.
I mean, I would not consider Metal Gear or Resident Evil RPGs. I mean, in a literal sense, you are playing a role, but not in the way that... Oh my god, my daughter is fucking screaming. What the fuck? Okay.
Wow, she's not just screaming, she's fucking screaming?
I'll
How
be
do you
right
get
back.
to that level?
I will be right back. I will come back as fast as I possibly can. And after about 5 minutes, I return, leading into this ridiculous discussion that a sane person would cut, but I'm leaving because it's kind of funny, and it's damn Chocobo. That's how we fucking work here. Anyway,
Rachel, you have to enlighten me on how do you fucking scream, because I think I want to try that with my girlfriend one time.
I think that you take things literally in uncomfortable ways too much. Also, if you can't make your girlfriend fucking scream, then you're doing it wrong.
Well, I mean, we've done Scream, but I don't know
Did it
what
happen
is
while
all
you were-
involved with fucking screaming.
Well, again, I think if you're doing it right, then I think you know what's up.
Oh, well, it sounds kind of nasty. I mean, considering your daughter was doing it, so
I mean, that's not. Again, we're just going. Now we're bringing like fucking minors back into it. Jesus Christ! I was trying to swerve away from children.
Well, I mean, considering the circumstances, I mean, you opened this can of worms up yourself.
I did, and I'm deeply regretting it. I'm feeling all the regret right now. All of it. All of it.
You know, I've accomplished one objective tonight. Now we just got to accomplish the others.
You did it. Jacob?
Yes.
My daughter was screaming, and I got upstairs to check on her, and you know what she said when I was like, what's going on? She said, nothing.
Why does that not surprise me? That does not surprise me one bit.
Are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, so
we can fucking kid now, too? Wow.
Shut up. Back to these groups quick. We want to get to
Resident Evil's, Metal Gear Solid, and Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I want to get through this so we can get to Chrono Trigger talk. Okay, so just little observations I've noticed about these different fandoms based on this limited selection of the fandoms. So in no way meant to be representative of the whole or every single group, but just what I saw. And first of all, like Metal Gear fan groups, nowhere near as active, which makes sense because Metal Gear is kind of been dead for a while.
Yeah, I was going to say, they haven't really had a whole lot of active games recently. So.
And when there would be conversation, it would be like, I see a lot of like lore talk sometimes.
Okay.
So it's people selling merch, like getting out of Metal Gear collecting, or posting hauls of like 30 different copies of, the core Metal Gear games. Like they bought every version, the Japanese, the US, the PAL, the special versions, the regular release, and it's like, okay, all right.
They got really pretentious.
I think a lot of groups do that. It's just there's not as much, because there's the amount of activity there is lower, so you see a little bit more of these like random ass posts like that.
Okay.
Resident Evil, you still get some lore talk, you still get some memes, and of like things of note that stood out on that front.
Mm-hmm.
There's this ongoing joke in the community that I think has maybe slowed down a little bit. But for the longest time, it was people drawing like little comic panels or joking about the idea that Chris Redfield wants Leon to sleep with his sister to continue the Redfield bloodline.
Like what? No. What?
Right?
I don't get it, but okay.
It came up all the time. You would just see tons of like people making comic strips of like Leon just trying to do something and Chris Redfield bursting through a wall being like, I want you to fuck my sister.
Does I take it there's a couple out there that break the rock too?
What?
Don't you remember, like, it was breaking the rock in, like,
Oh yeah,
Resident
oh
Evil
yeah.
7?
I think the theory. I think that just like I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird in joke that's formed in that community, and I don't know, man. There you go. I saw lots of like people using AI to generate what would happen if characters paired up and had kids.
Okay.
So that was a thing for a while, and yeah. And the Final Fantasy communities.
Oh, the really pretentious ones.
Well, what they lately have been talking about is arguing about real time versus turn based combat, arguing whether or not Final Fantasy 15 is shit or not, and then people arguing about Final Fantasy 16.
I don't understand how 15 could be considered shit.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it comes up a lot for some reason. Like, why doesn't anybody like 15? Why do people think 15's good? It's like one that I wouldn't expect to come up so much, but maybe because it's the second most recent mainline entry, it comes up enough that makes me kind of like, huh, interesting.
It was a good game. I just wish it was more.
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
what they like, all the added content that they had, like that with that
yeah,
book. I wish that was included. But
for sure.
that's my only complaint about the game. I mean, it was a good game.
And just like the talk about Final Fantasy 16 often gets toxic.
Okay.
Because it's people complaining about.
Well, it's, you know.
It's a lot of the complaints at this point have devolved into people not talking about the game, but people who's talking about the people who differ in their opinion. So people who like it making things about the people who don't like it, and people who do like it making jokes about the people who do, like suggesting the other one is disabled or can't play games or is, just it's weird.
Wow.
Also, lots of pictures of Tifa and Aerith in like what you would call thirst pictures, like ones where they're just super sexy. Either fan art or AI generated images of those characters just like sexed up.
Well, like, that's been going on for the past 25 years.
Oh yeah, but it's just like more, and but you see those a lot in the conversation, like as far as like people making posts. It's just a sexy picture of Tifa, and like you never really see it for like other characters as much. You're not seeing like sexy Yuna, You're not seeing sexy Lulu. They're not doing like you don't. I've never seen somebody in years be like, "Yo, here's a sexy lightning."
Well, I think they dropped the sex appeal a lot with the PlayStation 2 era games.
I don't. Oh, I hope this is.
I mean, Riku is the only exception to the rule, in my opinion, in that capacity. But
and she's like a teenager.
Yeah.
I think. So you're like, at this point, to lust upon her makes you a fucking pedo.
Pretty much. So, like, that's kind of my argument with that. There wasn't like, and I almost want to extend that to 9 and 8 because there was nothing really, in my opinion, sexy about the characters in 8 or 9 for that matter, especially 9.
I have seen today. I just saw a joke posted about
Noah.
No, about Selfie being like a little slutty.
Well, we all know that Selfie's
she's a party girl.
Slutty.
We all know that she's a party girl, but like
she loves to party.
I mean, that's just like, but to me, that was like just like this ridiculous like thing that we did on the episode.
Right.
That there was little context within the game to actually support. But so like I saw that and I nodded like, oh, true. But then I was like, wait, how did anybody else come to this conclusion? We were just being assholes.
Well, I mean, I would argue that her attitude kind of, steers into that party girl mentality, but
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. We're stretching it a little bit in that.
A little bit. Oh yeah, totally.
So, but,
other
Yeah.
like a kind of different observations in terms of how I was received, because over the last like couple, I would say over this summer, I kind of got a lot better at presenting myself, like in like photo and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so like
So you learn to use the
spring,
camera angles, is what you're
yeah,
saying?
you know, just when you don't, you know, when you don't take pictures of yourself because you actively avoid the camera, you don't know much about how to frame yourself in the camera to look good. Or
Sure.
also, but also as a trans person, like improved with makeup, improved with like hair, just like the whole, and then just like transition itself, like subtle changes there, like making the shift a little less like jarring. Like 4 or 5 months ago, I would occasionally get shit.
Okay.
And so, but the only place that I ever got shit about that was in JRPG groups. Not even Final Fantasy specifically, but JRPG.
Well, those guys are kind of up their own ass.
I guess maybe like it's weird that I only saw it there, and it wasn't, and it's been a long time since I had to deal with much of that because like.
And they're not very forgiving on a general aspect, anyways.
Oh yeah, I would say like whenever that like Harry Potter game came out, like there were JRPG shitposting groups that almost became 99% transphobic over overnight. And it wasn't even like they're shitposting groups, they're just being offensive because that's what those groups are that's what they do. It's cool, I get it. But it was like very specific on this one subject that I was like, oh, okay. And then if you were a female or a trans person, people will give you a really fucking hard time.
Well, I mean, I feel that that's kind of reflective of the the leader and taken to an
oh yeah,
to extremes, So you're kind of
But and again, like and I'm how I'm received now versus when I was then is very different. Both in terms of because I'm better at presenting myself, my photos are better, all that. So like when people see my profile picture, it looks a lot better than it did then. But like even back then, when I was in Resident Evil groups and Metal Gear groups, it never came up. And I'm not saying that like those people are more like progressive, forgiving. It was just it's just interest. It's almost just like it wasn't of interest to talk about in those groups, but for whatever reason in JRPG groups, more broadly speaking, not Final Fantasy specifically, it was the people who played those felt more interested in bringing it up.
Well, I would argue that you're just a couple of steps away from manga and that theater avenue versus say Metal Gear Solid and Resident Evil. The JRPGs are a lot closer to that than say those other two genres.
And that's kind of, and honestly, that's like the grand thing I was kind of getting at with these observations is just like what do these the demographics of these different fandoms, how does that lead them to interact differently, treat other people differently? Like, what is it? Like, how different are they? And I don't know, but I was seeing differences in terms of content posted, in terms of how I was received. And even now, it's months later, I look a lot more, I hate to say female because that's like
feminine.
That's the goal. Yeah, like it's before it was a lot more obvious that I was trans. Now it's a lot less obvious unless you really look. And some of my pictures, like you actually have to look rather than a passing glance. It gets by in the photo, like my profile photos and stuff. And so the way I'm received is different now too. I'm not treated like a trans person. I'm treated like a woman. And so in JRPG groups, I'm treated like an idiot.
Well,
like I'm invading their space.
Well, that
with the
the JRPG groups, I hate to stereotype, but they play into that incel mentality a lot.
I think there's a little bit of truth to that in these groups. I don't know broadly, but in these groups it supports that theory. I will say in Final Fantasy specific groups, I see more other female, like of all the groups that I've been in, JRPG and Final Fantasy are the ones that I see the most female posters in as well.
I think there's truth to that too, because a lot of the games that I see on Twitch when I'm watching a streamer, they are like Kingdom Hearts. I know is a big one for women to take, to get into.
I know women like Final Fantasy. I mean, there are women who buy these like nearly $1,000 statues in the custom Final Fantasy statues.
Oh wow, they get into the memorabilia then. I wasn't aware.
There's just as hardcore as the dudes, and it is. You kind of see in the Final Fantasy groups a lot less. I see a lot less like shittiness directed towards the female posters or female commenters, because you would like in like broad JRPG groups, if a woman posted something that made a guy mad, I would commonly see dudes go after them and try to argue them or make them sound like they don't know what they're talking about. And in the Final Fantasy groups, I see a lot less of that. The most I see is like eye rolling when somebody posts something queer or something too sweet or like something sexy about the guys. So if you see like a sexy Cloud pic, like or like there's like this mod, but it's mostly Cloud. Let's be real. Sephiroth, and like those kind of when you see a Final Fantasy character and they're sexy, you'll occasionally get guys who are like, "Oh, why do they have to post this?" But like the fact that there's enough women to even post that in Final Fantasy groups is impressive to me, because you don't see that in certain other groups. Like I don't think I've ever seen a girl post in a Metal Gear group other than myself.
Wow.
I don't think I've seen any.
That group, I mean, the games themselves are very, very. I mean, I know they can't really take a sex, but they're very masculine, in my opinion. You don't see a lot of vulnerability in those games.
What I think they feature more a male perspective.
Sure, yeah.
More than say a Resident Evil or a Final Fantasy. Like it feels very much like the perspective of a dude.
Well, I mean, look at your protagonists. They're all they're all male. And
I mean, and Kojima, like, and that's not like a negative thing on Hideo Kojima. I love that dude. I think he's a fucking genius. His games are my favorite games. I just think that he has a very specific tone, and I think that maybe that specific tone appeals a lot more to dudes, at least dudes enough to.
Well, I would argue that
whatever girl fans they are, I'm not seeing a lot in these specific groups. They might be more prevalent in Twitter or Reddit or something. I don't know.
But the games themselves, are three quarters of them are all men. So I mean,
Resident Evil, I see more men, but I see female posters, and I never see anybody give them a hard time about the content they post, about what they post. Like they never treat it differently, and that's cool to see.
I think your games are reflective on who the protagonist is. And that's how you're identifying.
And how the characters are portrayed within the game. Because I think in Resident Evil, sexiness and sexuality is so irrelevant.
Right. Well,
like people will post sexy pictures of the characters because they are attractive human beings. But there's not like a romance. There's like nobody is hooking up with anybody in the Resident Evil games very much.
Well, they're all trying to keep their ass from being eaten by zombies. So.
Yeah, I think that whatever the focus
priorities,
of the story, man. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what, but like that's just my guesses. And then of course the Final Fantasy groups, I see the most women, but
of course. I would argue, look at the characters. I mean, you're
Mhm.
playing as female characters. The more you get, the more female characters you're playing, the more likely you're going to have, there being appeal to the female, side of the species, I guess, if you will.
Ooh, I think I'm using the wrong mic. Let me see if I can change it without ruining everything. Okay. Yeah, I think I had the wrong mic going there for a little bit. Let's see. So yeah. Also, the only group that I've had guys come like on social media, I've reached a point where I get guys kind of reaching out to quote unquote talk to me.
Yep.
And I've never had any Metal Gear guys reach out to me. I've had Final Fantasy guys and I've had Resident Evil guys. And they're all fine. But I have to call this out because I think it's the most hilarious thing. I had one guy who was really trying to be sweet in the Resident Evil group, whose main thing was like, "Hey, I just wanted to show you this. I think you look like Jill." And he sent me like a fan art of Jill Valentine. And I was like, I do not look anything like this, but thank you.
Right.
It was because I was wearing dark makeup in my profile picture. And he was like, oh, by the way, sorry about the cannons, because she had giant tits. And I get what he was going for. He was trying to be flattering, and it was sweet, but it was also just like, wow, dude.
A little jarring.
A little bit. I saved the picture because and took a screenshot because like that feels good. I mean, it's a little creepy, but it's also like, of all the people who reached out to me, it was like the one I came away from feeling the less shitty.
Right. Well, and I mean, I don't. There are characters. I mean, unless maybe you were going for like the blonde Resident Evil 5 Jill.
It was Resident Evil 5 Jill's hair.
Yep. I could
on
see
Resident
that.
Evil 3 Jill's outfit. And I was like, what a weird outfit. And she's got like goth eyeliner and makeup on. I was like, what an interesting choice. But yes, that does actually match with how I am portrayed in the photo that I had posted on my profile.
Okay. I think at that point you're reaching when you change games, okay?
Yeah, it was just like,
saying.
I don't like, how did you see my profile and immediately think of this weird fan art
amalgamation?
Picture? Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so anyways, this is not about Resident Evil.
No, it wasn't. And I just thought that was some interesting observations about social media because I'm using it more. I'm connected with a lot of groups on Facebook these days for personal, like non-gaming related stuff. And yeah, it's just I talk to my girlfriend mostly through Facebook, so I'm on it a lot. And you see some things. The status of I don't know, man. It's interesting. Jake, are you up to anything interesting that you would like to call out or point out?
No,
I hope it was vaguely interesting.
Yeah. It spawned art. It spawned discussion.
Yeah.
No, I've just been like this year. I've been kind of settling a little bit more into the house, versus what's been going on over the last couple of years. So, just been putting in, giving it a little bit more of a lived-in look type situation. Kind of making some small minor adjustments, carving it out to how I want it to be type situation. It's one of those things where I haven't done anything since I moved in, like too like crazy as far as modifications to the house. And the reason for that was because periodically you always discover something new about the house. Okay,
always,
at least for the first couple of years. And
forever, it seems.
So my thing was like, okay, well, let me decide. Like, I move in and I'm gonna, figure out, let things evolve, if you will, until I can figure out like what are my habits that I do a lot in the house, and how do I adjust the house to those habits. And so that's what I'm kind of been going through as of late, is a lot of, oh, well, I should be doing this if I'm always going to be going through here type situation, you know. So just things like that. So, but otherwise, nothing too crazy. I mean, I think the last time we recorded, I was seeing somebody. I mentioned that, I think.
Yeah, it has been a long time since we recorded, ashamedly so.
Yes.
This playthrough, despite the fact that we did not travel that much distance, like plot-wise, it still took I don't know why it took us so long, but like we were enjoying it the whole way.
Right. Summer just got in the way.
Yeah, yes, summer and personal life shenanigans.
Yes, I mean, it's just like, you know, the month of June is always a pain in the ass for me. And
but we don't need to defend it, though.
No.
So, I don't know. Do you want to move into game talk?
But yeah, we could do that, I suppose.
If you want. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to call out? Tell me the best. Tell me the best movie you've seen that you saw over the summer.
You know, people are like trashing it, but I really liked The Flash. I really enjoyed it. It was, even the second time I was watching it, every time I hear the original Batman theme from 1989 Batman, I get giddy, straight up. So, I like it. I didn't think it was a bad movie. I especially liked the way it ended. And I'm not a fan of Ezra Miller, but I have to say that I thought he did a good job. But aside from that, I mean, it's, you know, I have no complaints about that film. So
okay. I have not gone to the theater very much at all. I think I've seen two movies. The last two movies I saw in the theater were John Wick 4 and Transformers Rise of the Beasts. So it's kind of hard to... I like Transformers well enough. I guess that would get the nod from me. I don't know. Was John Wick over the summer?
No, it was last spring.
Yeah, I'm just Googling when did it come out. So I still need to see Barbie and the new not G.I. Joe, Ninja Turtle movie. Those are
I'm
high
not a big fan of animated movies. The only exception to that rule would be Into the Spider-Verse. I want to see those.
Into the Spider-Verse. I saw that on digital. So that would be the one I'd get the call out. I would call out. I think that was a really, 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 really good movie. Really, really.
I would not recommend Oppenheimer.
No, I would not either. That sounds like, unless you like a heavy movie. I would not.
Well, it plays like kind of a school, like a movie that you would see in school type of documentary.
Okay. You know, the funny thing is, I mentioned this as like just one quick thing we could talk about before jumping into the game. And then we found ourselves going off.
It wasn't that long.
That's true.
So, I haven't seen as many films as I've wanted to this summer, but that is what it is. That's because of where I live. So, out in the sticks, you don't really have a decent theater.
I have plenty of decent theaters. It's very difficult for me to get out of the house.
I don't have that issue. I just have an issue of getting to a theater. So
you know what else we seem to have an issue with?
Getting this shit started.
That's right, because we are damn Chocobo, and what we do is waste time down to the fucking.
Well, you're the master of time wastage.
So you've always declared me as.
Yes, you've gotten better over the last 5 years, but up till you still hold the moniker. So.
I guess I do. Damn Chocobo. Damn Chocobo.
Damn Chocobo.
Okay, all right. Do you remember where we last left off when we played the Great Chrono Trigger?
The great Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, spectacular Chrono Trigger.
Yes. We left off at the end of time. We just finished that area, if I recall correctly. For the first time.
We just entered that area for the first time.
Yep.
We escaped the far-flung post-apocalyptic future. And,
yes, which wasn't that enjoyable, weirdly enough. So
no surprise. And the end of time, the most notable things are there's an old man hanging out there who kind of gives you the gist of the area.
He's a wise old man for us.
That's right. And when too many people from different times enter a portal, they go here because it's the place of least resistance. Mm-hmm. And that he mentions offhandedly that there's been a lot of people appearing due to more time disturbances than usual. The plot thickens.
So more people, arriving or coming through this area than us?
I think historically, I think that the important thing is just that there is more time disturbances than usual. I think that's the notable thing. Like that this, like something's going down that's fucking with the time stream. So
okay.
And this is also kind of this is your hub where you travel to your go-to between worlds. It's where your
time periods, not worlds.
Time periods. It's where your extra characters hang out because you can only have an active party of 3. That's like a limit of time travel. Like if more than 3 tries to enter a portal, you'd get shunted back here. So anything else about this area that you would want to call out? Because there's a couple things I think are of note.
Well, I like the area. There's the old man, and then I do like the fact that there's a save spot and a life restore spot, if you will, life and magic. I think that's kind of cool. There's also every 10 levels or so, you can go to see Specchio,
the Master of War.
Yes. He doesn't look like a master of war, in my opinion.
In my notes, I label him as a goopy fucker who makes you do a trial to unlock magic in your characters, and he asks you if he looks strong or weak, and says...
He always looks weak to me.
Yeah, and he says that his appearance is a reflection of how strong you are. So if he looks weak, then that's because you're weak, and if he looks strong, that's because you're strong. Yeah, I know. I thought that was a pretty good fucking
way to clap. He got me good.
Yeah. Yeah, and so after that, you can kind of jump in your portal and return to 1000 AD.
Yeah, and you notice a few little changes here. I think at this point.
Notable. Where do you appear?
You appear in a closet.
That's right. I love that. You just pop out of somebody's fucking closet.
It's like fucking Chronicles of Narnia all over again.
Yeah, you pop out of somebody's closet, and it's a house where there's some fucking monsters trying to live peacefully, but they're not thrilled about the situation.
No. Well, I mean, how thrilled would you be if some fucking alien-looking fucker or some monster-looking fucker came out of your closet?
I wouldn't be thrilled at either. I think he's mostly worked up about, not even worked up about, just everyone it's kind of like typical RPG sort of thing where like the entire world is obsessed with like one subject, it seems. And in this particular area, what did you call it? It's like the Monster Village or something like that.
Well, the Village of Magic.
The Village of Magic. Yes. Everyone here is just always fucking talking about Magus and how the mystics lost a war 400 years ago, and now they have to live peacefully with the humans, and they're not thrilled about it. Some of them aren't thrilled about it. The ones in this hut are pretty cool with it, but some of them are they're pissed that Magus lost the war. And so they're like, there's a spot if you go up north in the town there. There's a whole bunch of monsters worshiping a statue of Magus.
Right.
And saying something about his creation, Lavos, will awaken and destroy the human race.
How the hell did this get all put into play, anyways?
I don't. They're just.
I imagine we'll probably discover that one later on, but
I guess, right? I know. I think this is just your early, like, they're trying to, like, set you on a path of understanding what the fuck's going on. And it's, so your understanding right now is that Lavos is Magus's fault.
Yeah, and we don't. I mean,
the information
I know that
you
Lavos is a player in the game, I guess at this point, but I do not know much more than that.
Exactly. I mean, but that is what the information provided in this town is to suggest. Like, you're a smart person who's not jumping to conclusions, or you're just not paying attention to what NPCs are saying. Either way, there's wisdom.
Nice. At least you gave me a win out of it.
I'm giving you an out. But either way, they just, Lavos this, Magus that, blah blah blah.
Because he hasn't entered a whole lot of conversations yet, as far as Lavos is concerned.
No, we know he destroys he's responsible for the ruins of the world in the future, and that it happens somewhere around this time frame. We also, if you explore this area, there's like this pyramid thingy up north of the village.
This pyramid thingy, huh?
It's like a glowing energy pyramid that you can't actually enter. I just think it's noteworthy.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it'll become relevant later. Do you remember the old man nearby who becomes more relevant later, but you can visit him now?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's I think this is where... No, I don't remember too much to talk. I don't think I talked to him that much at this point.
He's just a merchant right now. Do you remember his name?
Yeah. No, I cannot.
I just like putting you on the spot. His name was Melvin.
Yeah, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Okay.
Choir, something like that.
I just know that he is significant later on for certain reasons that we'll cover here shortly. But I cannot think of his fucking name off the top of my head.
He seems.
Do you remember your kindergarten teacher's name? I know what it was. Fucker.
Gosh, I don't. What was my kindergarten? Were we in the same kindergarten class? I don't think we were.
We were, but we weren't. Okay, you were a PM. I was an AM.
Okay. What was
Mrs.
her name?
Ellis.
Ellis. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, go take your merchant fucker's name and shove it up your ass. Okay?
Thank you for confirming that, because I was talking with my mom about it, like non sequitur time recently about school, and I swore I went half days, that I was a PM person, and my mom was like, "No, I think we did full days," and I'm like, "I don't think they were doing full days then, because full days they do now insanely, but we were little." I forgot that we had the same teacher. No. We were just split up AM PM. That sucked.
It is what it is.
I mean, that kind of happens a lot, though. Like, as you're going through elementary school, you'll make close friends in your class, and then you're separated because you're put in different classes the next year.
But we have recess, so
yeah.
But anyway,
yeah. He doesn't have much to say; just sells weapons. But
he's a weapon seller.
Yeah,
and he's a good one. Apparently, he's they kind of praise him, despite me not knowing his name. But yeah, I mean,
yes,
he's a I don't want to say legendary weapons maker, but he is definitely someone you don't want to fuck with.
He has spoke well of at this point. Yes. To the north of here is the Heckran Cave.
Yes, and you can fight Mr. Heckran.
That's right.
I remembered his name. Fuck you.
You did, because it's in the fucking name of the place. I love that the first thing that happens when you enter this cave is some monsters yell, "Death to the Mystic's enemies!" It's like, cool. You're just really... What did we do to the Mystics, dude?
Well, first of all, who are the Mystics? Okay? I don't know if I want death on them yet, but I would like them identified first.
Who are you? I don't know who you are.
Am I the Mystics? Are you the Mystics? Is he the Mystic?
I don't see any of you guys using magic, but we use magic.
So does that mean I'm a mystic?
You're the enemies. You guys are the enemies of the mystics, as far as I'm concerned.
So they want a death to us then. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Death to the mystic enemies.
Ultimately, yes. That is the goal. They want us dead.
But you know how that goes. So
yeah, they die. They all die.
Anybody that tries to kill us, we kill them first. So
I am trying to remember this area does not. The enemies continue to not be super notable here. They're just, you have bigger, stronger guys. You have littler guys. There's bats. Mm-hmm. You beat them up. Move forward.
There's a boss at the end.
There is. As you've said, yes. He kind of looks like a Godzilla-style monster, like that Toho style, something that Godzilla would fight.
Yeah, he's got a lot of like spikes on the back of his back.
Yeah. And he this is a fight where it's a lesson that you should pay attention to what if the to that top space in the combat area. Like a lot of these games do. Sometimes there'll be important information there, like dialogue in the fight, because during this fight he will occasionally say, go ahead and try and attack. And if you're dumb like me and you just attack anyway because you didn't read what he had to say, he'll counterattack the entire party. And it does fuck you over. It's a huge so I lost this fight the first time I did it because I was just like, what is going on? I was not proud of myself. I was not proud of myself. It was like, oh God. And this isn't the last time I get totally jacked because I'm not paying attention.
Apparently Rachel is too poor to pay attention.
Yes. Fuck you. That was good. So you got to be a little bit cognizant during this time when he clenches up. Just heal yourself. That's the best way to go. And then when he unclenches, then you can fuck him up some more. So otherwise, it wasn't a particularly notable fight for me, but I didn't struggle with it like somebody around here did. I wouldn't say I struggled. I struggled with myself and my inability to pay attention sometimes.
He was banging the controller against his ass too many times. I was
probably paying more attention to you at that point, I'm assuming.
Really? It's my fucking fault now.
I will find an excuse to make it your fault, yes.
Excuses are like assholes, Rachel.
Well, yeah, you just can't stop thinking about them.
Well, I was gonna say, everyone has one. I know
the saying.
So all right. So, anyways, we beat Heckran.
And then you can jump on a little portal and get spat out on the other continent where you're from.
Yep. And then I think hop into a whirlpool and get transported back to your own continent. Which was kind of an interesting thing. I was really hoping to see a little bit more of the map just due to this option, but unfortunately,
not yet.
No bueno. So
I at first I was frustrated that this was a one-way trip.
Yeah, I was kind of annoyed by that too, but because I was really, like I said, I really was curious what the rest of the map looked like. But
yeah, I don't know how to get there. You can get to that other side through a portal.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
The game hasn't opened up yet, and that's fine.
Yeah. You can get back over there, but there's no when you're on the other island. If you want to kind of get in the whirlpool and spat back over on the starting continent, you have to go through those caves again.
Yeah.
So the smart thing to do is jump back in that the cupboard, the closet cupboard, whatever pantry of the
Go Chronicles of Narnia again.
Yeah, exactly. So back at this point, after you beat the last boss, before you kind of jump in the portal or the whirlpool, the team decides that hey, if we go back in time and destroy Magus, that should prevent him from summoning Lavos and destroying the world, and thus prevent the world from that post-apocalyptic future that they experienced from happening. So that becomes the kind of ongoing goal mission of this point.
That's a dangerous line of thought, though. Fucking with the future.
Exactly, fucking with the timeline. So the plan is to get back to 600 AD. You can dink around in town, talk to Chrono's mom and all that stuff, or you can just run back to the fairgrounds and portal in there.
Yep, this is an opportunity to. It's a spot between dungeons, sort of. So you can refill, regroup type situation from the last fight. Granted, he wasn't terrible. There is a fight that's coming up here soon that definitely took the gloves off a little bit, in my opinion, and we'll get to that. So
yeah,
but
so yeah,
anyways,
you can portal to 600 AD.
600 AD. Woohoo!
It doesn't matter kind of where you go. You can explore town or you can go to the castle, but you will be in.
It doesn't matter where you go.
Exactly, Brock. But you'll be informed that there's shit going down at the Zenin Bridge.
Yes. So at some point, that's how you're going to progress the storyline.
Yeah, and at some point it's right now. So what happens when you first go there?
You fight dudes. Well, actually, no, you don't fight dudes. The soldiers are a bunch of pansies that don't want to fight. Basically, is what it comes down to.
Well, they're exhausted. They're hungry.
They're
angry.
No excuses. Play like a champion, okay? If you want to defend your kingdom, you gotta take the necessary measures to protect that kingdom, whether you're hungry or not.
I think they did play like a champion, and they don't have much left in them to continue playing.
It's like Billy Madison said. He went out and looked for his dog, and he just quit after an hour. You got a responsibility. You get your ass out and you find that fucking dog. Or in this case, you get your ass out there and you defend your fucking kingdom.
O'Doyle rules.
So that's kind of my thought process on this. I mean, yeah, I don't give a damn if you're hungry or not. You got a job to do. You got to defend your kingdom. And if you're not doing that, you're sucking it up. So,
well, there you go, Mr. Former Military, talking about the military here being wimps.
Yep. It doesn't matter if you're hungry or not. You'll get some food when you get the job done. So, get the job done.
I guess if there's anyone here who can shit talk them, I guess it's probably you. So,
between the two of us, yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Which one of us spent some time in Iraq? You did. That's true.
Yes.
So
all right.
Down to business. You do have to you still, regardless of what Jake feels like, you still have to go back to the castle, talk to the cook, and try to get some food out of this guy.
Yep. And he's being a bit of a butt anyways, but
huge butt. So much of a butt that his wife gets on his ass about it.
Yeah. And I mean, his excuses are lame ones, almost as lame as the soldiers, but not, well, actually lamer than the ones that the soldiers have. There we go. That's what I mean. So
yeah, it's not good.
So
which again,
you get your jerky from him.
Well, not at first though. You have to leave, and then he runs out and chases you, and gives it to you right at the exit of the castle.
He has the nerve to chase me, and I've got a sword. Well, what a fucking moron!
Wow.
Just say it. I mean, I'm not going to chase a guy with a sword. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm not that foolish.
You're on fire tonight.
Well, you were telling me earlier that I was kind of off my game last time. So
you were, yeah. You're stepping it up.
So, anyways, yeah. After he chases your ass and then you shake your sword at him, he gives you some fucking jerky then. So, and a power tap for your trouble.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you had
giving me more than that, but whatever.
What are you expecting this old man to give you, Jake?
I want a fucking steak dinner.
That's what I was about to
should be taking that to those soldiers. Lead from the front instead of sitting back there. Why doesn't he have a kitchen right there next to that bridge, serving his shit out, That's what he should be doing. I mean, that's what the U.S. Army does. I mean, if you want to cook, you get in the field. So, anyways.
There's just so many directions I could go, but I'm not going to. My goodness.
You give the turkey to, so you make your way back, because I think this was an unnecessary, stupid trip to begin with. Why is he sitting all the way back in the castle? He should be right next to the fucking bridge, and then this way, this troops wouldn't be starving their ass off.
That's right.
So I mean that solutions, not problems. So.
Yeah, facts.
Yep. So you take the jerky to the knight captain. Okay, the gold soldier, I guess he is.
Yep. And ultimately, you are kind of like, you jump into the fray.
Yeah. So you got to pick up the slack for all these assholes, chef included, and stand up to defend the bridge like a champion, like the champion you are.
And speaking of all these fucking wimpy ass soldiers who you're giving shit to, their bodies littering the fucking bridge. As you cross the bridge, Ozzy, the chubby, rotund villain working for Magus, reanimates them as skeletons, and you have to fight a couple waves of these guys as you cross.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. They're not horribly difficult. They're just more annoyance than anything. So
it's a cool scene.
Yeah, kind of.
It results in you getting to the other end of the bridge.
Yep.
Seemingly being in a position to really get the jump on Ozzy when he makes one last ditch effort and summons Zombor. A giant skeleton cyclops with wings.
Yeah. Now, I think up to the actual boss fight here, the Zombor, I think the fights are in succession, so you don't have a whole lot of options to heal.
You don't know. Because I got to this fight and I was already like everyone was low on health. I got into this, like, I didn't even top up when I went and initiated the combat. Like, it's stupidly on me. It was like, sometimes when you're playing these games, you make foolish decisions. And I came into this. I did.
If I make a foolish decision, it's a strategy decision, and I fuck myself hard. Okay?
Okay, all right.
Well, no, I'm saying in general, okay? But I don't make the mistake of not topping off after every fight. I'm just calling you out on that one, too. After every fight, try to top off if you can. So, because otherwise you don't know what the next fight is in store. So, just saying.
You got me.
But yeah, Zombor.
He's a notable fight because he has two. Everything's easy for Jake. He has two sections. He has a top and a bottom that are individually targeted, and the top absorbs lightning and fire. The bottom absorbs shadow and water. So you can't do multi-hit magic attacks. Like, your most powerful magic attacks hit multiple targets. So you can't do those combo moves here because you'll heal the fucker.
Yep. That's why I just chopped him down like a tree and moved on.
Or you just use regular magic attacks and target the weak piece, like whichever one is not going to absorb it, and just focus on that one until you kill it. So
yeah,
you can
do one of those.
It's like bare minimum strategy, like
right. And I'll still make the statement that I don't think the game. I mean, the game is getting a little bit harder now at this point, but I don't. We'll get to a boss that I actually will say that the gloves are actually off. Okay, the gloves are still kind of on for me in these fights. So,
just
That's my opinion or perception.
I guess at this point, I'm starting to be more free with, not in this fight, but like shortly after this, I'm more like, I'm going to start using these combo attacks more. I'm going to start using these, like the techs, dual techs. We don't have any triple techs yet, so.
Nope, I can't wait. That'll be interesting when they come along. So.
Oh yeah, those are pretty fucking awesome. There's like Delta attack, I think, is one or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you take him down. He's a little bit more difficult, but again, I equate him to the previous boss. He was, he had some annoyances, but he wasn't like critically like fuck you. This is, you have your balls on tight, for that. No, you don't. You can kind of limp wrist this one through if you do it right. So.
I would say you can limp wrist it, but you can. God, geez.
I could.
Why aren't you just the baddest of the bad? Regardless of how
I don't know about that, but
fight or not, Ozzy runs away because he's a giant wimp.
He's a little bitch. That's what he is. I don't know about a wimp, but he's a little bitch.
You can continue into the southern part of the continent after this, which there's like 2 villages.
And I explored it. It was kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, talk to people. You kind of get like details about like there's a legendary hero running around. There's some monstrous frog man. And
no.
Yeah, eventually
foreshadowing.
You finally figure out that the legendary hero everyone's running around that's running around doing stuff who has the hero badge, I think is what it is. It's actually some badge. Kid. Yep. It's some kid named Tata.
Tata. Huh?
That's right.
Okay.
So, and if you keep exploring, yes, exactly, but it's a child.
Ugh.
Minors.
Never mind that.
There is and in the elder's house, someone will mention that Tata is probably up north looking for some quote unquote legendary sword.
No.
That
can't be. That's impossible. Oh, wait.
That's impossible.
We're not watching that movie. So, but yeah. So go north and look for the Tatas. I mean Tata.
That's right.
And
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been trying to think of a way to work in the famous quote, the classic blunders from
what, from Vader
the Princess
Sessions or
Bride?
Something? Oh, Princess Bride.
Yeah, the classic blunders. Like you never wage a land war in China, and you never battle a Sicilian with deaths on the line.
I've never seen the show.
You've never seen The Princess Bride?
Nope.
Jake?
Mm-hmm.
You're fucking fired. Holy shit.
Wouldn't be the first time. It's not going to be the last.
You need to see that movie. You would love that movie.
Well, I constantly quote one phrase out of that movie all the time, right?
What? Which one?
Which one is it? You say that word. I don't think it means what you think
it
it means.
doesn't mean what you think it means. Yeah, that
yeah.
One. Yeah. You know that line. You should see the friggin' movie. My name is Indigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I've heard that many times. I've heard that too many times too.
Yeah. It has Andre the Giant in it. It's got Andre.
I am indifferent against him. He was never a big,
Yeah, but he's sweet in it. He's a sweet character. You should see it.
Oh.
Jake.
Yes.
You can also check out the Cursed Woods here. And
yes,
if
Cursed Woods.
And if you explore the Cursed Woods, what might you find?
A mid-tonic and a shelter in the chest.
Wow, Mr. FAQ.
You asked me what I would buy, and I mentioned what you would buy.
You will also find Frog living in a hole hidden at the end of the main path through the forest. There's like a bush that you can wade into.
Or as I commonly call him, Bad A. Yep.
He certainly will become that later.
Yes.
But your goal you're supposed to go to is
just cut through the forest and get all the way to the this
no,
bush.
not No, yes, go to the forest, get to talk to Frog if you want. But the goal where you need to go, that's like an optional thing. There's like side quests and stuff that you can optionally do around this time too.
No way. There's a side quest in a JRPG?
Believe it or not.
Holy shit.
We
You
are
just changed
slow and
my world.
I bet I did. But we're slow and observant, so we haven't been really like paying attention to these. Where someone's like, boy, if only I had something or something, I could really giggity goo get it done.
If I only had chocolate and milk, I could have chocolate milk.
If only. Word has it, something, and somewhere. Yeah. Oh, well. And you're like, huh, I wonder what that means. And we're not smart enough to be like, I should go there. But like later, we'll do a string of side quests catching up.
I'm guessing that you're going to have a lot more options later game to be able to fulfill those side quests. So.
Oh, for sure. Like as time goes on, more and more. Yeah.
Yep.
Regardless, you go to the Didoro Mountains.
Yep.
This is finally where we kind of get an enemy that it has something noteworthy about him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. In this enemy, most of the enemies are just, it just kind of follows the same formula of all these places. But we finally get someone who's a little bit different. And that is in this area, we get these guys who are with big-ass hammers who hit harder and are way harder to hurt. Unless you hit them with fire.
And Rachel found it out the hard way.
I did find it out the hard way. And then Jake was like,
dude, you need to do this.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But yeah, you burn their hammers and then they ain't shit.
Yep. They don't hurt you at all. So
very early into this location, a kid with a shield zooms by, screaming.
I'm going to take a step back here and say that's an interesting mechanic that I don't see on a regular basis with a lot of the games that I've played in the past. So,
which one?
The burning of the hammer, so it doesn't knock your shit in.
That's cool, isn't it? It's creative.
Yes.
It's like you gave an enemy a weakness in a way that is logical and plays into their abilities as well.
Well, not to mention, and you also see it from a graphic standpoint, which is something that's one of the key things that I'm hammering about, because usually you have a weakness, but you can't. I mean, there's sometimes you'll see it, but
there's no special effect from using it. It's just It does more damage. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah.
Yeah. So this has more. And it's not like a full-time weakness. It's like a one-time thing, and then their capabilities are dropped, so you can attack them normal.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, kid runs by, presumably Tata, tells you to run, has some monsters training him. You beat up the monsters, kid goes home. So you pretty much know you can go to his house later and find him, presumably. But we're not going to quit because there's supposedly a sword here. So you fight your way through, and you fight
your way through like a boss.
And you fight,
Yep.
And there's a lot of fighting.
Yep, and then I mean you can get some items too here. There's some chests floating around.
This area, this I don't know, equivalent of a dungeon without actually being a dungeon, feels longer than a lot of the ones we've been in, and it has a lot of like, hey, you can see a chest that you can't easily get to, and then later you'll find a way to kind of curve back and get to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is, it's par for the course, but, keeps you on your toes a little bit.
And it's well executed, I think, for the most part. So, props to the designers. But eventually you make it to a cave, and in it, there's
sword. Not another cave.
Believe it or not. And in this one, there is a shaft of light with, at the bottom, a sword embedded into the ground.
What are we... Ooh... Magic sword in a rock. Okay, or ground.
Do you remember anything about this?
Yes. Well, first of all, it is the Mazimun that we're actually looking for, and we have come across the sword. However, something interesting happens here, and I can't remember. I think I don't think the sword disappears in its entirety. I can't remember, but it splits into two enemies, Mazza and Miyun.
That's right. the spirit of the sword.
Yes. And this is like, I would argue that this is the first fight where the game kind of takes the gloves off, because this is a little bit more difficult fight to deal with, in my opinion.
I don't know if it is. I mean, it kind of is.
Because, well, and I'm not talking about just this fight. I'm talking the whole rigmarole as far as what all takes place.
It's like a 2-phase fight, basically.
Yes, exactly.
And the second phase, it absolutely picks up.
Yes.
Gets a little nasty.
I mean, this one's kind of like, okay, this is a little difficult, but it's not like overwhelmingly hard. The thing that kind of trips you up, though, is, okay, you're fighting two enemies here. They're both a boss. Okay?
And you should explain why you're facing them. I'll do it. They're two. The Spirit of the Sword, they basically like...
Mm-hmm. They want to test you.
Exactly. They want to test you. They're giving you shit for trying to take it. One of them says something about, like, it's not who owns the sword, it's how you use it. And
that's what I get constantly told.
And I like think, when I hear that, I'm just like, cool, but how are you going to use it if you don't own it?
Well, I mean, you have, like, between the two of us, you're the one that has more questionable morals than I do. You don't necessarily have to own to use a sword. So
yeah, I don't want to take it. I don't want to own it. I just want to take it.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can steal it, and this doesn't necessarily imply ownership.
Yeah, I just want to be in possession of the thing. Who cares who owns it? Possession is 9/10 the law, I'm told.
So at that point, I do own it. So fuck you, right?
Yeah. Squatters' rights, but like with items in my hand.
Wow. Oh God. So yes. So they test you, and you pick one and kill it. Is what the strategy is here. Okay.
Wow, what a deep strategy. Holy shit! Wow, how'd you come up with that one, Jake?
It was after some careful thought process. It was just like, I'm just gonna fuck this one up. I don't care who you are, if you're Mazza or you're Mew. Yeah. You don't have to kill both here, okay? You only have to kill one. So,
you don't have to beat them both? Okay.
No, you only have to kill one. So, I mean, it's like the strategy where the bear's coming after you. It's you and me, Rachel. Because I don't have to run faster than the bear. I just have to run faster than you.
I always have this saying that, like, if a group comes after you, you don't have to beat the group. All you have to do is pick one person and just admit, like, I'm going to lose this fight, but you're going to pay for it. And you just pick out that one person and make them suddenly question this whole thing. And then if you
make an example.
Exactly. And just be like, all right. And if you're good enough at it, that person will suddenly be like, hey, guys, maybe we shouldn't do this anymore.
Despite having strength in numbers? Yeah.
Exactly.
So
you might be able to take me, but some of you are going to feel it in the morning.
But yeah. So
beat the shit out of it. Whichever one's the short. Pick one, the short one. Both the same height.
It doesn't matter. Pick one and kill it.
But after you beat its ass, they decide to stop playing around.
Yep.
Because they merge to form a larger form.
Masamune.
The notable thing about their sepular form, the sepular
form.
The separate form is they can cast this ability called Typhoon that confuses a character, so it's a minor annoyance.
Yeah. So say it ain't so. The one fight that status effects start coming into play, Jake gets annoyed.
That's right. I'm resisting singing the Weezer song "Say It Ain't So," but I just want you to know that it's in my head now.
So yeah, and Masamune, he's definitely one you got to be kind of on your toes about. So.
He's much bigger, beefier. He has hits that can hit you for nearly 100 HP, and he has this big ass group attack called Vacuum, which will absolutely hit for over 100.
Yep.
So it's gonna fuck you up.
but you can neutralize it by using slash.
Wind slash or something like that.
Wind slash, yep.
Yeah. It's just timing it is key, is the hard thing.
Yep. It is.
And sometimes I just couldn't get it off in time to do it. It's almost like you need to just wait with Chrono after an attack or two, because he's going to be doing it at any moment. And if you attack too soon, Chrono won't have his ability and time to stop it. So.
Yep. So and that's the idea I took, is like, okay, he's winding up his attack. Okay. Next time Chrono's available, bing. Okay. So it wasn't easy. I don't think he got it off too many times against me. It might have been once or twice, but it wasn't. I know Rach kind of struggled with it a little bit. So, but but after you beat Mazimune, you get Mazimune. Wow, what a concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you got to go. You'll go back to Tata's house and learn the truth about the hero medal.
Yeah, it's he just dropped it. He found it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just found it because Frog dropped it. So
right,
and he gives it to you.
And
it's notable because it boosts the critical hit rate of the Masamune.
Yeah.
Which isn't useful right now because you can't equip it. The Masamune.
Right, because it's
wait
broken.
a little bit. Yeah, but wait a little bit and you can.
So
for now, go to the Cursed Woods and show Frog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he'll still sound defeated, like the little bitch that he is for right now.
Yeah.
But he will give you the broken hilt to the Masamune.
Yeah. Yeah. You can check it out, and it'll you'll find the inscription on it that says Melkor or Melkwire, aka the old weapons dude from our time.
I couldn't remember his name.
Exactly. He's a legendary weaponsmith. Regardless of all this, like, Frog is just not. He's not depressed.
He's down.
Yeah, he's still, like, he's got a little bit of energy back, but because the sword's broken. He's just like, nobody can fix it, but we know otherwise. So.
So I gotta call a game out here a little bit because I'm curious. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right now, we're in 600 AD, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So Melkor lives in 1000 AD.
Mm-hmm.
So how does his name get traveled around before his time?
He addresses it. He's from previous. He's an ancient dude. He's time traveled.
Oh, he has time traveled.
Yeah, either he's an ancient conversation. He's lived a long time, or he's time traveled. I don't remember which.
Okay. Like I said, I just don't recall that conversation is all. So.
Yeah.
But so we have to take Broken Hilt and Masamune to Melkor to reforge the sword.
Yeah, in 1000 AD, where he will be pretty stoked at you showing him it and just being like, "Wow, dude, that's impressive." Like, if you had some Dreamstone, I'd be able to fix this bitch right up, right as rain. But you're never gonna find any because it hasn't existed in a long time.
And you're like, "Fuck me! I gotta find another bullshit item."
Exactly. But when he talks about longer than you could imagine, coincidentally, one of the new portals that appeared the last time you went to the end of time was 65 million BC.
I thought it was million. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was billion with a B.
Yeah.
So, but it's million. You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh.
So next item up for bid.
Yeah, you jump into you run to the time portal, you jump in, and
you jump into your DeLorean, and you travel back to 65 million BC.
Yeah. This leads to a pretty awesome not time. You basically drop into a new area, and I think in our version,
no pun intended. You literally drop in.
Yeah, and in our version, because we're playing the Android version, which is kind of a ported version of the PlayStation version, they added some new cinematics, some hand-drawn cinematics for the PlayStation disc version that were not in the original SNES version. That's all I was getting at. And this version has those animations. So every time they play these, you basically watch the same scene twice. So you see it in the cartoon style, and then you see it in the in-game 16-bit style. But this is the spot where Ayla shows up and kicks a bunch of ass.
Yeah, and she just rocks.
Yeah.
I called her boss.
Yeah. So, but I guess you show up, you beat some reptiles, then she shows up, then you beat up some more.
And before you travel back in time, it might be an idea. I don't know where you're at leveled wise, but it might be a good idea to visit Specchio.
Oh,
just in case for more magic. If you leveled up another 10 levels or so. It's asking a lot, I know, but just it's always nice to kind of visit periodically. So, especially with wait, we haven't got that far yet. Never mind. So.
Ugh. So we can level up guys that are trailing behind?
Yeah, there's that too.
Okay, cool. I didn't know. Yeah, good to know.
Well, I don't know if they're trailing behind or not. I just know that, he levels up your magic. It changes every 10 levels. You might want to stop in if you haven't stopped in a while.
Good to know.
But yes, so we stop. We literally drop into 65 million BC. Okay, we fall from a cliff.
Good times. We all love it.
Yes. Well, I don't know if falling from a cliff is really a good time, but whatever floats your boat. So.
Consider my boat floated.
Okay. Well, note to self: the next time I find a cliff, I can drop Rachel from it because she likes that sort of thing.
Yeah, I do. We all got our own tastes.
So.
Ayla shows up. She is a cool
character.
She kind of has like a, she's like a fantasy bombshell, basically.
Yep, and can barely speak.
Yeah, so. Wearing a bikini, muscly, tough as heck, jumps Chrono.
Yep, and not in the fun way, mind you.
No, it seems like in the fun way. It looks like. Wow. Like characters say, I think she likes you.
Well, I don't know if she likes her in that way, but okay.
That's what it alludes to. Whether or not it's true or not, it's just what it says in the game.
Why is everything about sex with you these days?
I'm not. I'm just saying that's what the way it literally says in the game. Lucas says, I think she likes you.
Well, I mean, you can like someone as a friend, Sure. Thor likes Captain Marvel. She's like, I like this one. Doesn't mean he wants to jump her bones.
They actually, I think. Oh no, that was She-Hulk. He dated She-Hulk in the comics recently.
Well, I'm quoting Endgame, so
I know. Okay. So either way, this one. She basically has you wants you to follow her to the village. Says they got plenty of stones everywhere.
Yes, but do you have the stone that we are looking for? But yeah, anyways.
She's just insistent that you go to Ioka Village, I think it is. So, and then she runs off, and you kind of have to follow her.
Yeah.
She runs
on. You kind of explore around and get acquainted with 60. Yeah. Well, I mean, and you get, like I said, explore around like this is an opportunity. It's a new land. You can check it out, see what's going on, see how things work a little bit. But one of the key things to note in this world is they don't have G or Gil or whatever you want to use for currency.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Why would they?
Yep. You have to trade with, I can't remember what the hell it's like flowers and sticks and, well, I don't think it's sticks, but flowers and some other shit instead. So.
Okay.
But yeah.
That never occurred to me. That's cool. I support that. That makes a ton of sense.
So
I almost maybe it's probably glad that they didn't, but they totally could have made every time era have a different currency.
that would have been awful. I mean, I see it makes sense regarding yes,
I mean,
currency
even
would
I
change
remember
with each time period.
a far-flung future one. They're like, "What is this? You say it's worth something? I don't know, but okay."
It's not credits. I need
yeah.
credits.
Yeah.
But
if you dink around in the village when you finally get there, everybody's talking about the fucking reptites or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That they're a pain in the ass.
Yep. So
just dink around there eventually, and you will find Ayla in her tent.
Ooh. Okay, now it's getting kinky.
Well, you do stay. You're guests of her. Yeah. She wants you to stay and have.
Now who's feeding ignorance?
Yeah, she wants you to stay and have a party. That's the important thing. So they have a big old feast that night, and it's pretty cool because you're friends of hers. So.
Right.
I kind of like this just because I brought Luca and I don't know, Marley.
Yep.
What did we decide to call her? Marley? Yeah, we decided with Marley. And Marley wants to dance and Luca gets drunk. And I think by the end of the night, everybody gets fucked up.
Yeah, everybody gets fucked up. But you're forgetting there's one key point, I think, in this period. It's like a small mini game sort of, but not really. When they start talking about the Dreamstone.
Tell me about it.
Tell you about it? Well, you gotta play. So you gotta compete with Ayla for the Dreamstone because they have one. Yeah.
At the party, don't you have to do it there? You have to do a drinking party.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and you gotta hit A,
and just
or you gotta pound it. Yeah, just pound the shit out of it.
I know for us, it was just tapping the screen.
Right.
And so I could literally just drum my fingers on and just annihilate her.
Yeah.
And lose about 1 billion brain cells.
In the process.
Exactly. Chrono probably lost half his IQ that night, but it was all right. It was a good time. It was good shit.
Everybody had a fun time. And I kind of dig that. I like them doing that scene where it was kind of I don't want to say it was like a house party, but it kind of was in 65 million BC.
Yeah, I kind of like whenever these Final Fantasy games do these a lot too sometimes, where it's just hanging out and doing social shit and you're just talking to the characters. The times in 7 when you hang out in 7th Heaven, the times in Final Fantasy 8 when you're bumming around the garden or hanging out in a train car, or just
Sure.
I know for some people it's just oh, it's slowed down, I just want things to fucking move, but these are they're character building moments and plot building moments, and it's moments when the game is less about fighting.
It's that's kind of in story mode, a little bit. Storytelling mode. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and it's just a totally different. They framed it in an interesting way, so yes. I like that.
I dig this. I dig this scene a lot. It was a nice change of pace because I don't recall seeing. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, you can bum around, like you just said, but to actually have a party, the closest thing that I can recall to an actual party that was included in the game was probably in Final Fantasy VIII with the instrument bullshit, and he was trying to take Renault on a date. That's the closest thing that they've had. I could see them having fun. I guess there was the Golden Saucer too, sort of, but
yeah, kind of.
But this was fun. I enjoyed this. So
Just a cool thing. I love the next moment when you wake up and just everybody is just fucked
sloshed and fucked.
No, it's just literally you guys passed out in the dirt and they left you. And there's dino footprints all over the place.
Yep. And I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Passed out in the dirt and people left you.
And then you discover that the stone is gone, the gate key's been taken, and these dino prints were left all over the place. You're like, all right.
Time to follow these dino prints.
We can't fix the sword without that goddamn gem. We can't go back in time without that device. So we got to hunt these motherfuckers down. So you go wake up Ayla in her tent because she passed out in her tent and is out like a light.
Right.
And I like that she's like snoring when you first go there.
You know. So it's tough being the queen of the whatever tribe she's the queen of.
She says at one point too much soup slept like a stone because they called her they're good shit.
They called her what?
That thing that you pounded down.
Oh,
she was fine with the soup.
Gotcha. That's funny.
So you basically have to head to the forest maze.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can get some tonics. Oh wait, yeah, you can get a free tonic while you're there.
So go beat shit up.
Yeah, fuck them up.
Yeah.
And this is where it's petals, fangs, and horns and feathers are the currency.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. So, and you can try trading for weapons and shit like that once you build up some currency. I can't remember how you get them, but there's a way that you can. So.
And right around here is where we totally run out of steam, call it a night, and decide to start recording again sometime later when we finally have time to do so. So here is the next bit of the episode, which should be the last half, I think, without any more interruptions. God, I hope so. Enjoy.
Should we just roll with it, like try to play it off like there was no time off and just jump right into what the next thing is, or do you want to just acknowledge that there's been time?
Your call. I mean,
I can do it either way.
Yes, you can.
Don't yawn. We're literally just starting. You can't yawn yet. We got to come into this with energy.
Yeah.
Step it up. Do I need to tell you to get up and do some jumping jacks? Get the blood flowing?
If you think I'm gonna get up and do jumping jacks, you're out of your damn mind.
Okay, all right. Fuck off. Let's do this.
Fuck off.
Fuck off. It's been 2 weeks since we last recorded. Shit happens. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. It's shit, and occasionally it happens.
Believe it or not, it does. Where we last left off, as previously discussed in our refresher before we hit record, was
we got drunk and now we're hungover and we lost our shit.
There was a split second there where I was like, "Don't tell us what you did. Tell us what happened in the game."
That's basically what kind of happened in the game. We partied it up, had a great time. And now we're hungover and lost our shit.
Exactly. And so now we are on a quest to get the main and like specifically the time travel remote. If we don't get that back, we're stuck in prehistoric time. And let me tell you something, Jake. There's no lube.
I mean, Ayla's there, and
that's true.
There's worse places to be stuck with with her.
Or internet, or.
She's not all that bad.
Plumbing? There is no plumbing in prehistoric times.
Well, there's no plumbing in the end of time. Well, not the end of times, but the a million after Lavos hit everything either. So
that's true. Well, we don't. We're trying to.
They don't even have any food back then. I mean, here at least you have some food.
That's true. Like you can. You can eat and you can fuck, so I guess everything's all right. Yeah.
I mean, it's you don't. It's not the most ideal of situations, mind you, but you could be in a lot worse condition.
That's true, but like if you can get back home, you're likely not gonna like have to worry about getting eaten by a dinosaur.
Well, I mean, that's a simple thing to do. I mean, you just look out for dinosaurs and not so you don't get eaten by them.
Well, tell that to all the things that got eaten by dinosaurs.
Well, I mean, there's a level of, you got to be vigilant. And if you're not vigilant, you get eaten by dinosaurs. Is this a precarious situation?
It is no matter how you look at it, it's a precarious situation. But we see tracks all over the ground, and when we wake up Ayla, we're basically, the Reptides took it, long story short. And she's like, we're going to go fuck those guys up and get your shit back.
So follow the footprints.
Yeah. So, and that leads to they tell you what is it called? It's some sort of maze.
The forest maze?
The forest maze, because their lair is hidden within.
Oh, and they have a gate key. I guess that's that's the gate key is
that's
what?
The remote. Yeah, that's the remote thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember what they called it. Yes. So you go. You
maneuver through it. It's not horrible. It is.
I believe it's to the south-ish of where you were.
I believe so too.
Yeah, something like that.
And you get some vines to swing from, and
there's some climbing.
It's reflective of the times, and which is kind of cool,
Yeah, as far as the dungeons go, it's fine. I got little to say about the dungeon layout in itself, or the things you fight, like just nothing. It's just a thing you go through and you beat up a bunch of stuff.
Yep. It's typical dungeon, but it's still I just like the fact that they reflected the times a little bit with the vines and everything. So
it feels the vibe for sure.
Yep. And then eventually you get to the reptile layer.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Well, I don't know if it's kind of cool or not, but like the maze is like, if you look on the overworld area, it's like this circle of forest, and then inside there's like a walkable area, and then the cave in the middle. It's like a donut with a cave in the middle, a donut of trees with a cave in the middle. So once you complete this area, you're thrown back out to the overworld, where you can then maneuver over into the cave. Is it notable in any way? I just think it's interesting how it's split up that way. I don't think they needed to do that. Like, you could have literally just went straight into the cave here, I would imagine. Like,
right.
Does it matter in any way? No, it doesn't. It is a design choice that they did, and I see that, and I'm like, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then you're not going to believe this. You go into the cave, and it's a cave.
Say it ain't so.
There's brown.
We're going spelunking.
Rocks, and yeah. You beat up stuff.
You beat up stuff.
Dinosaurs.
Kind of more of the same.
Who
except
did you
that's
take?
In a cave.
Who was your crew?
My crew. At this point, it would have been Luca, Marley, and Chrono. Oh, wait. We have Ayla in the party. Excuse me. It would have been Ayla and Marley and Chrono.
That's exactly who I had. Yeah.
So.
Wow, we're really mixing it up. Poor Robo or Roboto or whatever. It's like I've forgotten the poor dude's name. Like, he's cool.
Right. I mean, I've just never been reflective of having a robot in the party, and that goes back to Final Fantasy VI. So.
Now I'm like, who's the robot in Final Fantasy VI?
The Yumaro.
Who?
Yumaro.
Isn't that the Yeti?
I don't know. I thought there was now you got me. Now I'm gonna look it up. So yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking? Well, like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Wow.
Final Fantasy VI.
Like, one of us is wrong. One of us is wrong. The only robot I know is the one that, shit.
Isn't there like there was one that like
Terra? It's not Terra, is it? It's the one that's an Esper. Because there's Terra and Celis, and you like Celis, and she's the former soldier. Terra is the Esper. Yeah, I'm right.
Okay, so yeah, Yumero's the Yeti, just like you said. There was one that was Go-Go.
Go-Go's not a robot. That's a dude in a robe.
A dude in a robe?
Yeah.
Oh.
Who looks like Gilgamesh, kind of.
Maybe that was who it was. I was thinking was a robot.
Maybe.
Because I was thinking, I swore like one of them was. I was like, looks like a robot.
Sorry, Jake. I think you're wrong.
Well, I know I'm wrong about the whole robot thing, clearly, but I don't like robots in my party. Okay, they're gonna take over the world. They're gonna turn into Skynet.
Technocyst?
Yeah.
Whatever racist against robots is, that's you.
Yeah, that's me. I don't. Which is ironic considering all the automation I have in my house.
Exactly, and your profession. Like I'm just like that feels like the thing that you would do, but that's why you don't. That's why you distrust them so much.
As far as my party is concerned, when it comes to games, I don't trust them. They'll turn evil.
I guess.
Kate Sith was kind of a puppet that
I guess
he was working against you.
You're gonna have a real hard time when I convince you to play Nier Automata then.
Yeah.
I guess. Jake, the point is, this is I hate caves. Caves are boring. Long story short, but there is a boss.
You don't
at
like
the end
spelunking?
I mean, personally, if I were to physically do it, also probably not, because there's this movie called The Descent, I believe, which is absolutely fucking terrifying.
I don't care about horror films, so yeah. We gotta have a particularly interesting angle and not like.
Yeah, The Descent. Jesus Christ, that movie scared the shit out of me.
Wow, that's saying something considering the movies that you've seen.
Yeah. Like it's just like it's just like I don't know, man. It's good.
Remember when Darkness Falls? That was hilarious.
I honestly don't.
That was the night that we had all the guys together.
Oh no! Now I do. Now is that the one with the tooth fairy?
Yeah. The orange juice went everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Jason's room, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He was pissed as nails.
Wasn't that the night like Jeremy went to his car and he tried to pee on one of the seats of his own car? I think.
I don't know. Someone tried to pee on his car.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was, and I decided to start rocking out at 2 a.m. with my subs.
I remember that too. Yeah, and we're just like, what the fuck? And we all ended up collapsing on the floor in Jason's room. I remember that.
Yeah. Anyways.
The important thing is at the end of this dungeon, there is a big old muscle dino named Nispa. But first you have
There's a boss at the end of the cave? Holy shit.
Believe it or not. Yeah, you talk to Azala, the leader of the Reptites. And you're like, give me back my shit. And he's like, fuck you.
Right.
And summons his big
his
big
muscle. He just summons his muscle. That's all it is.
Basically. And it's just a big ripped Triceratops walking on two legs who is tough, but he has a weakness. Jake, what is the weakness?
The fact that you can hit him with lightning and it will lower his defense.
Because otherwise it's practically impenetrable and you can't hurt him. Right. However, it is a double-edged sword sort of situation, because while it allows you to finally hurt him, it also grants him his strongest, most devastating attack.
Yeah. So you gotta be really cognizant about your health.
So after you've lowered his defense, you get a pound on him for a while, and then he it's like electricity discharge or something like that.
Yep. It's all three parties at once, or all three guys at once.
For like 150.
Yeah, somewhere between 100 and 200 as far as damage is concerned.
Just a heavy ass. So you need to you basically need to heal up. Hit him with lightning, unload into him, As soon as he starts getting, once you see the releases for electricity heal, get yourself topped off, hit him with electricity again. And it's kind of this constant juggling between your health being topped off enough to hit him with that ability so that he won't murder your entire party with the discharge.
And there comes a point in this fight where you don't have to use the lightning anymore because like his defense is like almost nil. So because I did find out because it lowers his magic defense.
It's physical defense.
Is it physical? Well, it's defense. Okay.
It's defense. Maybe it's one or the other. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
Doesn't
defense.
I always just assumed that the discharge completely like reset his defense.
No, because I kept hitting him like forever and with it, and at one point I just was like, you know what, his defense is lowered enough at this point, and I just went at him. I didn't even bother with the lightning anymore. So.
Huh. Okay. All right. I thought you had to keep doing it, but maybe not. No. Okay.
Mm-mm.
And you're not going to believe this, but afterwards, that the wimpy lizard king basically gives you back the remote because he's kind of like.
Well, he destroyed his muscle, so what's he going to do to you now?
Yeah, or the gate key. I keep calling it the remote, but we know it's the gate key. And you get it back, and you can go back home, go back to Ayla's village, and she's all bummed out you're leaving. But
well, of course, but
you know.
It is what it is.
So. It's a see you later, not a goodbye.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now you've got your necessary ingredients. You want to take it to Melkor.
And
in 1000 AD in the Medina village. Yeah,
and there him and Luca will repair the sword.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And you just get this kind of like brief scene of them just like walking around and looking at stuff and blah blah blah. And then he kind of like goes and puts it on a table and does some stuff, and she looks at books, and you just kind of walk around and watch them, really, but it's kind of neat.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And then eventually the sword.
They present the sword to you.
Exactly. And so now you know what it's time for.
It's time to go find Frog.
Exactly. Go give it to him.
Mm-hmm. So
now, why we don't think to use it ourselves?
Apparently, we're not worthy.
I guess. Even though the fucking Masamune spirit dudes gave it to us, so.
Right. And that's my takeaway.
Yeah.
We're not worthy.
I guess. So you go back to Frog, and Frog's like, "Oh, look, it's you again. What's up?" And you give him, you show him the sword, and he's like, "Oh shit."
You got the fucking sword.
He has this moment where he like looks away, and he's like, I need to think about this. Stay the night. I need to
take a minute here.
Yeah, this is. I never in my life thought this was going to happen. Like, I need to see. You get the first of two flashbacks about Frog, where up to this point, you're given the impression that Frog is Cyrus, this knight that the queen and the guides in the kingdom miss, some legendary badass knight. So you see a scene of him in the past where Cyrus, the badass knight, is like, all right, I'm gonna go get the badge, the badge of courage,
or badge of courage, or whatever.
It's called the badge of courage at this point, or something like that. All the knights like, I'm gonna miss you, boy. You just kick some butt. And on his way out, he runs into this dude named Glenn, and he's like, you be careful too. Like, so Glenn, who is not a knight, he's just a dude.
Yeah, he's just a tag along at this point.
Just hangs out. Then you get a scene of Glenn beating the shit out of the Frog King or whatever to get the badge back. And then on the way back, you get this brief, like it fades it back, and then you get this line where they're like, oh, the Masamune. And like, I guess on the way back, they get jumped by
Magus?
Yeah, Megas and Ozzy. And the Masamune is broken. And
Snap.
yeah, and basically our boy Glenn gets Cyrus gets wrecked.
Yeah.
Glenn, meanwhile, is a coward, doesn't do anything, is just crying that he's a goner, and Cyrus is like, just escape while I keep him at bay. It'll be fine. And Glenn doesn't run, and Cyrus just gets his ass smoked. Like, bad.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't turn well for Cyrus here.
It goes hard. And the Ozzy and Megas are like, this is ridiculous. Like, since you're such a wimp and your boy just died, why kill you? We can turn you into a frog.
Yeah, we're just gonna fuck you over like this. So
yeah, so that's like your flashback moment, and Frog's like, okay, you know what? The next morning he's like,
I'm done with this bullshit.
I'm gonna take you to Megas and I'm gonna get my revenge. Yeah. Fuck this guy.
Fuck him up hard.
Yeah.
So, now before you go and start on your trek to Megas, it is recommended to stop at Speko and get water magic for Frog, because otherwise a lot of that stuff a lot of the cool shit that he has you won't be able to take advantage of. So
exactly, and I think that's wise. Like, every time you get a character, of course you're going to want to take him, because that's just what you do, you know.
Right.
So first, though, you take Frog to the magic cave, because you can't equip the sword yet.
Why not?
I think it's the magic cave, right?
Head to the magic cave. Yep.
Yeah.
And you'll get to see
there's a cool
see more history about Frog.
Yeah, this is where like, you see him as a kid, he's getting bullied. Cyrus comes up and he's like, dude, like, don't let him
push you around. Stop being a little bitch.
He literally calls him, he's like, you're such a marshmallow. Like, and then you get a flashback of them a little bit earlier, and Cyrus is like, yo, Glenn, I think I'm gonna be a knight. And Glenn's like, I knew it. You're such a badass. You're gonna be a great warrior. And Cyrus is like, dude, like, you're a better swordsman than me. You should join too. And Glenn's like, I just can't. I just don't want to hurt people.
Yeah. He's got a pacifist stance here.
Exactly. So he is a badass, but he never wanted to hurt people. So he
right.
That kind of lend his way to weakness or whatever.
Right. And
you also get a scene of him in the water after he got turned into a lizard, into a frog. And the hero's medal goes to him or whatever. And then it goes back to the present, and he grabs the sword. Oh, first he does, like, my name is Glenn. Cyrus's hopes and dreams now live in the Masamune.
Yep. It's basically, listen here, bitch. I'm gonna split this rock open.
I shall slay Megas and restore honor.
Right.
The sword is like bursting with electricity and energy as he like pulls it from the ground and points to the sky, and this beam fires off. It's so badass. Like, let's just, like, Frog is just now at this point you're like, Frog is cool as shit.
Right. But yeah.
Oh yeah, and then he cuts the rock in half.
He cuts the rock in half.
So you can access the magic
cave.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now he's like, let's fucking go. So at this like, if you did not love Frog before, once you see that moment, I feel like it's impossible to not look at him as like, that dude's a badass. I love Frog. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, he's okay.
One of the weird things, though, is that this sword is given such a badass, like, reputation now, right? Like, it's powered up, you get it, like, now you can equip it on Frog because you couldn't before, and if you equip the metal with it, it does, like, it doubles the crit rate or something like that. It's so weird to have this sword built up like this, and it's essentially, like, going to get replaced here pretty soon.
Yeah. And
Eventually it's just going to be another sword for Frog.
Right.
There is a quest later in the game where you get to power it up again, and it becomes Frog's strongest weapon.
Oh, okay.
But even that, it's not like the strongest weapon in the entire game. It's just Frog's strongest weapon. And like the way that this sword is built up for this like middle chunk of the game, I almost wish it was like hilariously overpowered.
And be like the last weapon that you wield for Frog.
I mean, like even like when you power it up again, when you do the side quest later that powers it up to be his final weapon. I wish it overpowered it more. Like I wish it was the strongest. I wish it was the strongest weapon in the entire game at that point.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like nobody else like at that point should have a stronger weapon than Frog. Like the Masamune in Frog's hands should be the baddest ass thing. Because it's literally part of the game that this sword is this legendary sword, and you go through this whole quest to reforge it, and the only way to defeat this great evil is with this sword. And then late in the game, there will be weapons for other characters that are stronger. And like, because Frog isn't the strongest character by the end of the game. Like, Chrono and Ayla are stronger. And I think another character who we get, like the next character who joins us, might be stronger too.
Okay.
Yeah. So
well, that'll be interesting when we encounter him. So
yeah, I know, weird little thing to go on. You may have encountered them actually.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Maybe.
You go through this cave, and of note, there is a bat that's following you through this cave.
Yes. And he Jake, just follows your ass.
Do you have any feelings on this?
On this little bat? No.
Yeah.
I hate bats. That's a personal matter. So.
Or just on the cave in general.
The cave? It's just another dungeon that you kind of go through.
Agreed. It's just another fucking brown ass rock cave, and boy, let me tell you how sick of those I am.
Yeah, you're tired of those, so you don't like those anymore.
It is an RPG tradition. So, at the end of the cave, there is a dead guard that has a note that says, "The juggler in Magus' castle strengthens its guard when attacked. Beware."
I don't know the relevance, but okay.
So anyway.
Yeah.
Then you exit and you get to like next to Magus's lair, which is a badass castle looking thing with bats flying around it, and you enter and you get one of the coolest like scene reveals in the game, because for me at least, because I'm a Castlevania fan, and it looks straight out of a Castlevania where it's like Magus's lair, and it pans up and this big castle with lights on in it, and it's in front of the full moon, and there's bats flying around, and there's a statue
gargoyle.
There's a gargoyle of some demonic dragon thing on top with its wings opened right in front of the fucking moon. It just looks cool. It's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty badass.
Very specific. Like everything about this Magus's castle and the Magus character panders to my specific tastes.
Okay. Yeah.
So you go in there, Jake.
You are a Castlevania guy. So.
I am. So anyway, you go in there. And tell me about the inside of Magus's castle, Jake.
It's a castle, and there's enemies in it, and you take them. You can fight them. Well, there's a few, not a lot. But you'll eventually. I mean, you walk through it.
It's really eerie at first because there's people walking around rather than enemies who you can talk to, familiar faces even.
Oh yeah. That's kind of creepy.
And they talk weird to you. They say weird things. So it's a big surprise. It's a trap.
But basically, you just kind of explore at first, and
talking to people.
Yep.
And once you've explored, I think you have to explore both, because it's like a staircase in the middle, like Resident Evil style. You explore the left, you explore the right, you go back to the entryway, and then,
well, I believe at that point, The one, they actually, I don't want to say open up because it's not really the correct term, but each side will have a boss.
First, you have to face Ozzy in the middle, though.
Oh, you have to face Ozzy first. Oh,
Yeah,
I don't
I think
recall
so.
that. I think yeah.
Yeah,
Come
you
back
go
to the
up.
center and you greet Ozzy.
Yeah,
Okay.
you go to the left, you go to the right, or right left, then you go to the center again, and it's pitch black with a save spot in the middle. You go to that, and then the lights turn back on, and there's Ozzy floating.
Yeah. He
Who
greets
laughs?
you. And
Yeah. He basically is just like, Magus is busy, so you're gonna have to deal with us.
Right. And
The
now some.
swordsman slash and the magician flee.
Yes, and they are. If you haven't picked it up yet, yeah, they're from '80s rock bands. So
Oh, and he also mentions that you have to defeat 100 enemies that are in the castle, which I don't think is true. I don't think you
no,
actually have to beat 100, but there are
no,
supposedly 100 new enemies in the castle.
I did not defeat 100 enemies. Okay, by any means. I think I had to go through about 5. Okay, and that was just because they got in my way. But the first one that you encounter, I encountered was Slash.
Slash
So,
the swordsman.
yes, he's the
Slash.
swordsman. Okay.
And he is interesting because I think he doesn't start with the sword. He just fights you.
Yeah,
and it's pretty easy.
Yep,
and,
he's kind of. It seems very limp-wristed.
At first.
Yep.
And then finally he's like, all right, let's fucking do this. And he grabs the sword off the wall.
Yeah, he's like, all right, motherfucker, we're now I'm laying down. Now I'm putting you down. So, and he can't. Yeah, it's pretty hard. I mean,
And the way they talk to Frog is brutal because like to him, like to Frog, he's like after he grabs the sword, he's like, and with no Cyrus to protect you, you're mine.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up, and you're like, bring it on, bitch.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm gonna. The best way to deal with a lot of these bosses I found, and I don't know if it's the best or not, but for me, I used X slash a lot with the combo attack between combo technique dual tech between Chrono and Frog.
Yes, I did something similar. I also used a couple of. The Aura Whirlwind is like a godsend. I love that move.
Oh yeah, Frog has a heal spell too.
Yes, he does. It's not near as potent, but it does get you out of jams. And I start leveraging that like in the fight against Flea, I believe. So.
Yeah, I don't think Slash was too much of a hindrance. Yeah. I'm trying to think if he had anything of note.
The only thing that kind of threw me off my game I didn't care for was the back-to-back fights, because I'm a person that always likes to heal, and I'm always paranoid about my health, unlike Rach. So, but I'm just, that's just me. So it's basically, I was a little concerned about resources at this point. So,
like, basically at this point, he starts getting faster and he gets some stronger hits. So like by the second half of the fight, he's hitting guys faster, he's hitting them harder, that the pace is quickened. So then as you get going, you have to take so you got to take it more seriously. So
I do think I started using haste here as well.
Oh really?
Yeah, I believe I learned haste, and I was actually leveraging it just to kind of keep up with him a little bit, and be able to heal on a more regular basis versus wait about half the time versus double the time. So, or regular time, I guess, if you will. But I did start leveraging that in some of these fights because it was the way the bosses were these days. It seems like they were getting like 2 hits to each character's 1 each time, which can can get kind of nerve wracking a little bit. So
Yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, you beat him. I just I like the fact that they just paid an homage to the '80s rock bands. You know,
It's cool. It's cool.
yeah, a little different. You don't see that in other games. So
So what about the other? What's next, bud?
what's next? Well, then you go over the other side, and you basically backtrack and go the other side and talk to Flea. Which,
That's right. And Flea is it's a bit of a trick at first,
yes.
where they are not. You think you're in for a fight, and then you do a big hit, and it's not actually who they are. It's not their real form.
Right. And
yeah, it was a fake, and then the real thing shows up, and it's this. I mean, they even they make a mention about how they're because they have a more effeminate presence, and they're like male, female, what does it matter? And it turns out that that bat that's been following you around this whole time, that's them.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah, so they fly up and transform.
That's crazy. I didn't even pick that part up. I knew there was something up with the bat, but I just didn't fully understand it. So
yeah.
But this fight in particular though is a little bit annoys me, and the only reason why is because it's always the Bane that I always complain about in every other game that I've played. It's
yes.
This is the first fight I think that legitimately starts leveraging status effects, and they can be pretty substantial if you're not on your game. So
I mean, it's notably they possess you. They do like a charm thing. So
and it's not devastating, but it's an annoyance. So
yeah, I mostly ignored it.
I actually because I didn't want to deal with the bullshit. So
yeah.
I believe I can't remember what they have but it's basically there was an item I used to ward it off. So
you're right. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what.
I used it. So just to get rid of the status effects. I mean, granted, it wasn't for. It's like I don't know, for 30 seconds or so. It wasn't by any means anything like Final Fantasy games are, but I hate status effects just in general. So.
Panacea. Yeah.
I don't think that's what it was called, but
I think that's the status ailment cure, and that's
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. I thought there was something else, but maybe I don't recall what it was, what the name was. I just didn't think it was that.
It doesn't matter. The point is that
I used it. I got it relieved the status effects, and I kept pounding away. So
yeah. So unload into them.
Basically, yep.
You're not going to believe this. X strike, whatever you want to call it.
Yep, X strike.
That shit is my jam, yo.
Yep. And I mean, it kicks ass. The kicker is that it's difficult to time the text appropriately, because a lot of times, like with Aura Whirlwind, you're actually doubling up on Chrono.
Yep. Which that's one of the reasons why I try not to at this point, because Chrono is so essential as my primary damage dealer. I don't like giving him up to heal. So I try to. Sometimes I'll have Frog do support healing with his. Yep. He'll do his a lower level heal everybody thing, while Marley would do the single big heal when needed. Yeah. Cure. So, or throw whoever else would just throw one of the potions if needed, if things got too tight there. So
that's kind of how I treated it a little bit, except for the fact that I think I used heal and cure for characters that were substantially lower than the rest.
Oh
So,
yeah, just to keep them, because like you want to keep everybody up there.
Well, in this way, I mean, granted, Aura, yes, fixes everybody in a set. It fixes everybody, but you didn't want to tie that up. On the flip side, like the health wasn't necessarily warranting, aura across the board. It was it was just like one character that kind of took a hit.
Yeah.
A lower hit than the others. So.
Okay. Well, now that they're down, though, we have our next target. We're gonna go get the big boy himself, Ozzy.
Yep.
But we don't know exactly where he is. So what I did is I went to the main hallway, and there's a save point there, and I went to use that. But it's not actually a save point. It's a teleporter that sends you to the next area. So I was just like, oh hell.
Well, if you recall, like right next to, I thought Slash had two of them. I thought somewhere I remember there was I thought it was Slash's area, but maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, you could literally just exit right here too, so it's not that big of a deal.
But yeah, I remember going to Slash's side and saving because there was a save point there.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of enemies down here,
and you're kind of going through kind of a little bit of a puzzle, not a real one, but a little bit. So, because you're trying to navigate some of these rooms.
Yeah, you're basically it's navigating like this gauntlet of shit. I think the first one is he doesn't throw you in the pit first. I think it's like the conveyor belts and like scythe things that are chopping the ground. You got to dodge, and you get close to him, and he scampers, and then you go up to this. There's balls rolling that are enemies, and you can climb down little ladders to dodge them as you're going up these stairs.
Right.
And you're forced to fight up like some fights with skeletons and shit on the way up, even if you dodge everything else. Eventually, there's a towards the end here, you get somewhere around here. You get dropped.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of like false floors. You come into a room, and he's sitting on the other side, and he just flips the switch, and the floor falls within underneath you, and it was kind of annoying because there's quite a few of them. And but below there is actually some items that you can get from. I believe there was some.
There's chests
down there. Yeah.
And there's multiple little save spot things. I think.
Oh yeah.
But only one of them is the real thing, and
they constantly. I was gonna say they constantly rotate. So
yeah, because some of them are enemies, so they're like decoy things. So.
Which is another annoyance, but whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is. But
right. Gotta make it tough.
I don't know if tough is the word, but you make it. It can't be like a straight. You get where you're going, and then you just get direct access to the main villains or whatever that you're there for. Because otherwise, what kind of villain would they be if they're just like, oh shit, you showed up on my base? All right, hold on. Let me call off all my guards. Let me turn off all my traps. You can just face me. Like,
you know what? I'm just gonna let you just come here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody does that.
I mean, I feel like if there's anyone who would, it might be like the Kingpin. just a flex. Like that's the kind of guy who'd be like, you know what? No. Let me hold on. Send him to my room. Like let's go.
I'll be here.
Yeah. Or Dr. Doom would just show up. He's like, oh, you think I'm a coward? Let me just.
The problem with Doom is his ego.
Exactly. He would just be like, oh, I've got a busy day. I'd rather just kill you now rather than wait for you to get to me. So either way.
I can better plan my day that way.
Exactly. Let's just, I got some meetings. Let's just sort this shit out now. I got 5 minutes. Let's get this going. You get into this room. There's a bunch of like chains hanging down into empty chasms where as you progress through the room, Ozzy cranks up some enemies that you have to beat the shit out of. Eventually you get to the end of the room where you get to take on the big man himself. And,
This is an interesting fight.
It is. Tell me about it, Jake. He runs away. And then first he runs away. And then you get to another room where there's more cranks and stuff. So
you walk into this room and there's 4 switches. And then there's him. And your first instinct is like, oh, I'm just going to go fuck him up. And if you do that, he's going to fuck you up hard. Because he's got a counterattack that he just goes after. And he's encased in ice, too. So you got to deal with that as well.
Yes, also that.
But every time that you hit him, he hits you. So it's like, well, how do you get around that? So, but you find out as, very briefly as you're messing around here, that the switches, that these chain things that they're hooked up to these switches, they're actually selectable as well. And if you go after them, it's slowly like, I can't remember
it opens up once you break them all, it opens a pit like a trapdoor underneath Ozzy and drops him and his whole like.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was I couldn't remember if there was a progression between each switch. So, but yeah, it drops a floor and it drops Ozzy, and it's like, well, that was an easy fight. So now there is something to note is like if you attack him enough, eventually he will no longer be selectable. So but the fight will still continue. So you have to go after the switches.
Yeah, I think it's trying to force you into to doing it the right way.
Right.
Even if you're stubborn.
Which Rach is, so
I am, but I didn't do that.
But after
yeah. Go on.
So,
I interrupted.
Yep. So after Ozzy, he falls through his trap door or whatever that you have unleashed upon him, and 2 safe spots appear in front of you.
And one of them is a safe spot, and the other is
a transport to Magus' sanctum.
Yeah. Ooh. So you run up a set of stairs, and the room is dark.
Yep, and eventually these little blue flame type things start popping up either side of you.
Yeah. I'm trying to read what he says. That's like the first things. And then you go forward, and then the lights light up.
Mm-hmm.
Now the chosen time has come.
Apparently you're interrupting a summoning of some sort.
Exactly. Exchange this world for... And that's when, like...
Rich's mom!
Oh, please. And that's when the lights kind of slowly fade in as you see Magus in the center of the circle.
Yep.
And you interrupt the thing, and he's like, the fucking... It's that stupid frog? Really?
Came back? You want another ass whipping?
And then he notices you have the Masamune, and he's like, all right, like, you want to fucking go? Let's go.
Yeah, you got the Masamune. It's going to be useless to you, but okay. So that's how I do use it, at least.
He has this line where he's like, a black wind begins to blow. And like, I don't know what he means by that, other than like he just feels like maybe like an ill omen.
I didn't know wind could be colored.
Well, it's, thematic. He's a moody guy,
Well, and his HP is 6,666.
Hell yeah, it is. Like, that dude just... They're pandering to my tastes.
Got a cape.
Yeah, the cape, the Vegeta hairline. Like,
right.
I love how he gives you, like, the let's fucking go, like, hand gesture, like the come on.
Bring it.
Fight. Yeah, the bring it. So you throw down with him, and he is not fucking around.
No, you find this out very quickly.
Very, very quickly that he is quick to unload, and he's also tough. Like, you don't hurt him nearly as hard as you should be.
Right. And like this is where my asshole puckered a little bit here. I'm like, fuck, this is, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, as far as take him down. And I'm wondering, like, what other options do I have if I can't take him down now, So.
Crying.
But crying? I can't, because you can't exactly go back and grind this area a little bit, because it's such a way back to go back and grind. So.
I mean, in the dungeon itself, you could. But the trick here is that he has a barrier that changes, and that makes him immune to just about everything, right, except a specific magic. So the trick is basically he needs to be in a form that he is weak to a magic that you have, and you can have 3 different kinds of magics on you at any point, because each of your 3 party members has one, right, specific thing. So
unless you're an idiot like me.
How so?
So because Frog and Marley have the same, basically have ice and water.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I had that problem too. So I didn't think about that, but yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
It didn't work out as well as it should have. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you're right. It was dumb. Like, point taken. Either way, you can when he has when his barrier makes him weak to a specific magic that you have, unload into him. Otherwise, you are healing a lot.
Yes.
It's kind of like stay alive as much as you can until
an attack when there's an opening.
Exactly. Like, just survive the onslaught.
Move, stick and move. Rope-a-dope is my Ali would say.
I mean, I don't think you're roping anybody. One of his moves is he like runs forward, or he just dashes forward and just slaps a dude. And I just think it's really funny. It could be a punch, but it looks to me like he's just slapping you, and it just feels so disrespectful. I love it.
You're not even worth a weapon or magic. He's
it's like an
you.
Open hand slap. I'm all about it. Just what a disgrace! How emasculating,
right?
For these characters.
And this is a long fight.
It is. It's a lengthy fight. You only have you have limited openings to hurt him, and it's a lot of just surviving his relatively heavy hits. So he's quick. He does hits of your entire party, which. At first are not particularly damaging, but it adds up,
Right.
He hits all your guys for 40 damage. Like, at first you're just like, whatever, wimp. But like, he does that enough times in a row, it really wears you down, especially when you can't really do much back in retaliation sometimes. I mean, you can just hit him, but, if you hit him with the wrong magic at the wrong time, you heal him, so you can start, like, screwing yourself.
Well, and some of his magic does pretty substantial. I mean, some of the lightning does 150.
He charges up for dark matter.
Yep.
Which
and that one, that's a sumbitch. So
yeah.
Yeah, basically,
so
you're just trying to ward him off and attack when you can versus what.
Yeah, when he's charging
been doing in the past.
When he's charging up for dark matter, he drops his barriers, and then you can just unload into him.
Yeah, and just take him to church, but
but
up to that point, it's
But dark matter is no joke either, so it's one of those unload into him, but make sure you're topped off. Yeah. So that you don't just die.
Right. And I think I did lose a character at one point here. I
But
don't remember which one.
and as soon as you defeat him, he drops to a knee and says, "Bad timing. Don't wake up on me now." As like, to me, that's your sign that like your impression of what's actually going on or what happened here is not accurate, because he appears to have been doing some sort of summoning of some sort, but you whatever you did made it worse. Like, he wasn't actually trying to wake up Lavos.
Or,
Yeah.
Oops. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So we done goofed.
Like, you thought he was like, he's like, I only summoned him, you dumbass. He lives in the earth. Like,
Oh shit.
so like, what that means is, I don't know. So I think
Right.
I think his thing, he wasn't actually trying to wake him. He was just trying to do something with Lavos' power or something like that.
Right.
So either way, things go to shit. Gravity gets
The
weird,
gravity well develops.
and then you get thrown into time.
And it's like, oh shit.
You have a weird dream where you wake up in bed and Marley wakes you up,
Right.
and then you wake up for realsies in the prehistoric times where Ayla's like, "Yo, I found you fucking laying in the middle of nowhere, and I carried you back to the hut."
Because she's a boss.
Yeah, and she's like, can I eat this frog?
And we're like, no.
And he asks, like, where's the blue-haired one? To us, he looks white. And she's like, yo, I didn't see anyone with color that hair. Do they taste better? Like, what's up? Yeah, and you're like, okay, if Megas didn't create Lavos, then when was it born? Like, your perspective on what was going on is thrown all to hell now, and y'all need to figure out something else. You don't know where Homeboy is either. So
Homeboy, Magus.
Yeah, so Ayla makes you rest. She's like, fucking rest. Your ass is beat.
Just chill. Yep.
Yeah,
Just,
when you
just calm your tits.
Yeah, so you wake up, you're told that Ayla's over in this other village. Go help her out.
So
Basically.
that's pretty much where we stopped at this playthrough, I believe.
Yeah, you got a note about the North Wood burning, but we're going to stop here and figure out what to do afterwards. So I think that's a really awesome moment to stop, because it's like this moment where your perception on what's going on is thrown to question.
Yep, because you don't have a fucking clue.
Like, you thought you had an idea what was going on, and you're going to go save the world, and by killing this dude, and all you may have done is actually sparked it into happening. Like, honestly. So that for the next bit, I think we will play to let's just play to Through the Mountain of Woe. I don't think that it should be a relatively short playthrough. Maybe we'll play longer. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
So play Through the Mountain of Woe. We'll find out. It's been a long time since we last recorded, because just so much shit has happened over the last couple of months. The summer's been a shit show. Like, I mean, my personal life is insane. So I can imagine that Jake's life is also quite crazy. And
not a lot. Not as much as yours, but a little bit.
That's true. Yeah, my life is nuts. I am loving this game. I think it's great. I think it's hard to... What am I trying to say? I think it's an easy game to overlook, especially for maybe modern people, because at first glance, like, it's not anything special. It's just another fantasy RPG anime looking characters going on a quest, but like it's got a good vibe. Like that's really all there is to say. Like it's not, despite the fact that it's like end of the world type shit.
Right.
It's not super dramatic.
Yeah. It makes me. This game is really, really making me curious about what Chrono Cross is really all about.
That is, I think that kind of goes on our list of things that we probably should play, because I like Chrono Cross a lot, but it is a very different animal.
Yeah, it is, and I played through it. I might have played like a third through or so, but it just makes me, because while this isn't it's like Chrono Cross is like I would say it's spiritual sequel, sort of.
It is a
but
sort of semi-sequel,
right,
in an alternate universe.
Yeah. So I don't, like I said, I haven't beaten that game, but it makes me wonder how these two are related, especially with the way this one's playing down, because that one plays a completely different way, and it's actually like holy crap. So.
I mean, I think it's worth investigating. It is absolutely worth investigating just to talk about the how different it is, because it is a pretty wild divergence as far as like, that's an interesting way to go in a sequel.
But yes, I'm enjoying the game. It's kicking ass, and I'm surprised how much it's overlooked, because
and I don't think, like, I think it's mostly just, it's mostly in the modern era it seems overlooked, because for a very, very long time it was generally considered one of the best RPGs of all time. And just, I think it's been, and nothing's changed. I just don't know why it doesn't seem to be as in the conversation anymore. And it might have something to do with the fact that just JRPGs are not as hot as they once were.
That could be. I think it takes a kind of a same standing as Final Fantasy Tactics does.
Oh, sure.
Very good game, very great game.
Yeah. In relevant Final Fantasy news, more info about Final Fantasy Rebirth has come out. The release date of February 29th on PlayStation 5 has been announced. I believe, and I honestly don't know if this information is true, so this is entirely, I could be speaking out my ass. I'm only even bringing this up because it might make Jake happy, but I think it's a 3-month PlayStation exclusive and then can go to PC.
Wow. They moved that timeline up quick. Or moved that timeline up. Usually it's like 6 months to a year at least.
Usually. Well, no, maybe not. Never mind.
You fucking fat liar. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Wait, next year is 20. Yeah, no, it can be until May 29th, 24. That's when it can go to other things. So it is exclusive for at least 3 months.
Okay.
So it's not confirmed to be hitting anywhere else afterwards, but...
Right.
So I assume sometime around that point it's going to be hitting PC. So... then you'll be able to play it. So I really do think that means that the next game we play should probably be the 7 remake, just to kind of talk about that game leading up to the Rebirth release. So, but there's more time to work it out, I guess. But we got to finish this beast. I am loving the game. I got nothing else to add. Life is pain.
Yes, life is pain. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's been a rough couple weeks, dude.
I am sorry.
It is there's like we don't take 2 weeks in the middle of a fucking episode recording unless things went dark. So
I guess.
Yeah,
no
they
kidding.
It is what it is. I have nothing else to add other than if people want to reach out to us and tell, I don't know, Jake something.
Why do they have to tell me something? Maybe they want to tell you something.
they can tell me whatever they want, as long as you're nicer about it than people used to be on forums. I should point out, though, that like since our last episode when we kind of recorded and we opened with me talking about interactions with other gamer nerd people on Facebook, and just like how there's been some shitty things.
Yes.
And it had toned down a lot over recent things. It continues to be like I have not had anybody being overtly shitty to me in a while. Like there's been no additional like shittiness. So
well, that works for you. That's
good. Metal Gear fans are really whiny fucking babies right now, though.
Because
the reissue, they're reissuing like the first couple games on modern consoles.
Okay.
And it was announced recent, like the specs of the ports were revealed, and the Metal Gear 1 PlayStation game doesn't have an increased frame rate, so it's at like 30 frames a second or whatever, and there's goes like, why is it 60 frames a second?
Well, you know what they could have done is not released it at all, and that would have really pissed in your Cheerios.
Wouldn't it? Yeah, exactly. Like that game has the Metal Gear game series as a whole has not been on modern consoles at all. It hasn't been available to play. So like you couldn't buy Metal Gear for years and play the old games. Like there was no way. The last time they released a collection of Metal Gear games was PlayStation 3.
Yep. And you made me get it, and we never. Well, I think we did finish Peace Walker.
Yeah.
We never went back and played got into a lot of the stuff, even though we were really enjoying it.
Yeah, we had a really good time. And then there's also like I think those games were really fun. I think it's just a shame that it's taken, like they've been off the board for so long, like people couldn't play them. And I'm just happy that people are going to be able to play them. They're going to be put back on all the digital storefronts for everything. You can play it on any, like the Switch, any of the Xboxes, any of the PlayStations. It's going to be available on PC again. Like this is huge.
Nice.
Like it's just fucking available. Like not every reissue needs.
But I don't want to play it because it doesn't have 60 frame rates per second.
Yeah, and I'm just like, every time Nintendo releases puts a new, like an old Mario game on a modern console, do you expect them to upgrade Mario 3? No. They're preserving the original experience. And
even then, sometimes like some of the bugs and glitches that it originally had, it's annoying not to have them anymore. So
yeah, I know old games too, especially in that era. There's performance stuff specifically tied to the frame rate. If you increase the frame rate, you fuck up a whole shitload of things.
Oh, yeah.
There are some games that damage is tied to how many frames that like a sword or a knife is inside the enemy's hitbox. So if you increase the frame rate, that means the amount of frames that weapon is inside the enemy hitbox or your hitbox is multiplied, which makes the game harder.
Yeah.
Because it means that like a hit suddenly does way more damage than it normally does because of how the game was coded. So, I mean, the only like that in the last releases of 2 and 3, they remastered the graphics to be a little bit prettier and cleaner on like the PlayStation 3 area, and I think that's all you needed. Like, I don't think that a PlayStation 1 game warrants that level of. The Metal Gear Solid 1 should have a full-on remake versus like trying to fucking polish a fucking 20. It came out in 98, so 25-year-old game, almost 30. It's an almost 30-year-old game.
Well, I mean, Final Fantasy 7 was 25 years.
I think it's 25. Yeah, I think it's 25. It's about 25 years. So like, fuck off. Like, I don't know.
Yep.
Metal Gear games just there's a lot of nerds that are just suddenly very strange. They're like, Konami's trying to fuck us. I'm like, wow, a corporation trying to fuck you. Who'd have guessed?
You
But
really aren't. You're looking at it from the wrong perspective if you're thinking about it from that because the whole point of re-releasing the game, it's a cash grab.
Yeah.
For them.
I mean, yes, it's a cash grab, but it also makes this shit available that it otherwise is unavailable. Like,
right. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
There's generations of kids who haven't had a chance to fucking play Metal Gear unless they track down an old console that their dad had. Like,
and then like those old consoles, you got to have an old TV to go with them too.
Yeah,
because otherwise it looks like ass on a
you need to track
TV.
down. You need to track down an old console, and then you need to track down a fucking aftermarket copy of the fucking game that's probably marked up. Do you remember how much it cost to buy Chrono Trigger back when we were in high school? It was only like fucking a couple years old, and it was already going for $100 at game stores. Like,
no kidding. Wow.
Yeah, like, fuck off. Like, don't.
Yeah.
This is just an opportunity to play this shit. We should encourage companies to reissue their old products on modern hardware so that these games don't get lost forever.
Right. So you have something to play it on, yeah?
Yeah, like.
I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah, I got nothing else to add other than I'm excited about life.
Yeah. You are? I'm surprised.
Well, I'm trying to be.
Oh, okay. Well, always stay upbeat, Rach.
Exactly.
Good on you. So.
Yeah. Jake.
Yes.
Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Cannibal baby, she has a hunger in her eyes. One hand on her hip, and the other down his thighs. I've got a bloodlust baby, she was a human disguise. Black lace and leather, with unnatural desires. She'll lay you on the bed, she'll make you cry to heaven, cry to heaven, cry to heaven, cry to heaven. Get down on your knees.
Now begs the ultimate question.
Yes.
Who do you dedicate this episode to?
Ozzy.
Fucking right.
He's kind of a little bitch, in my opinion.
Well, he's a big bitch.
Well, that too, I guess.
Yeah. You know.
Just because he threw so much stupid shit at you, he just didn't, and he still didn't even really come out and fight you. He had to shuttle himself off in a case of ice, and then he attacked you whenever you attacked him. So it's like, really?
I feel like it's not particularly spoilery to say that we have not seen the last of these guys.
You don't think so? Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just... Yes, I'm going to spoil it. No, it's not the last we've seen of these guys.
Damn it. Okay.
We will see them again.
Son of a bitch. Oh, well. So I got to deal with Ozzy again, huh? Lovely. Thanks for that.
No problem.
Wow, even saying that.
I'm glad I can help.
Yeah.
Have you figured out? You know who the other character is by now, right? Like, you know who you don't know who the last character is?
I mean, I know there's Ayla, or I refer to her as Boss, but I don't know if there's anybody beyond that.
Okay.
All
right.
But,
cool.
Yeah.
I really have nothing else to add.
Me neither.
I could extend time to talk about things like the new Ninja Turtle movie I've finally seen half of because my life is so fucking busy. I've literally only seen like 40 minutes of it.
Damn. You haven't even watched Asuka.
I've watched the first 15 minutes of the first episode, but I was too depressed to continue on, unrelated to the show. I was just in the wrong mental place. It's been one of those, you know what? One of the best things and one of the worst things taking hormone therapy. And I don't want to go on some long diatribe about this stuff because I don't want people to think this is the fucking
Please don't, because I have to be. I want to be up at 5 o'clock here.
Yeah.
So.
It's just that having feelings, again, for real, and which is great to have feelings. However, you feel things, and it was much easier in the past to not.
Gotcha.
So I got to deal with emotions, but that's okay because most of the time they're good. Sometimes they're. Anyway, Jake, fucking. I thought I had something else I wanted to bring up, but I don't. I should just let you go. Yep. How's your wrestling treating you?
Is my wrestling treating me?
You've been watching old WWE.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable. I know
you want to go to sleep, but can you update me on what era, like at what point in WWE are you at right now? Like what point in history? Because you've been
I'm still in '99, so
okay. Because you're kind of watching chronologically, right?
Yeah, I've just been. I'll just kind of turn on Raw and watch that. Let it sit in the background and maybe laugh at some of the chirps that they give each other.
Hell yeah.
Which is hilarious because Rock is doing everybody.
Oh yeah, so. This is like peak Rock and Stone Cold.
Yep. So I haven't seen much of Stone Cold though in this time period. This exact run here.
Okay.
I wonder if there was something going on.
Possibly he may have been injured. Is this DX?
DX is gone.
Okay.
Michaels is gone too.
Yeah, this is Michaels lost his smile. Okay, so he's gone. Okay.
Yep.
And you have.
This is just.
Is Hunter solo at this point, or is he out?
Yeah,
injured?
Pretty much. I mean, he's got China sitting on his belt, but.
Okay.
Besides that, and Test and Stephanie are together.
Okay, so you're on the way to the Triple H Stephanie thing. Has Undertaker kidnapped Stephanie? Okay.
Oh no, I'm way past that.
So he's already done the kidnapping and all that. Okay. All right.
Oh yeah, he's.
Okay. So they revealed that. McMahon is
the higher power, yeah.
Okay, so you're past. Has Taker become American Badass?
No, not yet.
Okay, because you're real close to American Badass then.
Yep.
You're in the finals. I think you're in the final stretch of.
Well, he unveiled American Badass at Judgment Day. I think he's been injured. He had a groin pull, and it put him out for quite some time.
Yeah.
So,
okay, yeah. American Badass debut was.
It was at Judgment Day.
2002. Or 2000 Judgment. 2000 Judgment Day.
2000 Judgment Day. Yep.
Yeah.
Because he's gone. He's not around.
Okay.
And Stone Cold's kind of he floats around a little bit, but not a lot.
So basically, at this point, you I
take that back. Actually, Stone Cold is actually in it. He's been more appearing in main events though, and less on Raw. So
okay, did China become the champ yet? The what is it, American or Intercontinental champ or something like that?
Very briefly, I mean, she literally got it pulled away from her the next night.
Okay.
So,
has she feuded with Jericho?
I don't think we've gotten there yet. I think we just got over the Jeff Jarrett feud.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But I mean, I think we're in between feuds at this point.
Okay. So. Yeah. So you are, and Triple H isn't the game yet, right? Or is he the game?
He's the game.
Okay, he's the game. Okay.
I think
so you've had that. Because once he starts going solo, he has this whole I am the game speech or whatever. Okay, all right.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, I don't think he is. I don't think he's done that. It's just because it's always 1, 2. Is this on?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
that's his entrance music. So.
Oh God, I love that song so fucking much. That literally might be my favorite wrestling theme song of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Hit him with that Triple H shit. Huh?
Just the way it hits. Like, it's just, oh, fuck. And it's so bratty. Like, I just love it. Okay, well, I'll let you go.
Right.
I'll touch base on the next episode about where you are in your WWE watching. I know one quick tip as I'm letting you go. When I did a watch through of that era, I also I would hit up Raw and SmackDown when that started on occasion. But I would also, if I wasn't feeling the feuds that were going on, I would just jump straight to the pay-per-view.
Main event.
Yeah. Main event or pay-per-view. Like, you can kind of like fast forward really quick, or if you just follow, because I watched through that era like 2 years ago. Just like I watched just like 6 years of Triple H's career, and I basically just I just fast forwarded to his fight, his parts in every episode. So,
Gotcha.
But I know you're just getting more of a holistic view on everything. So,
yep. I just like to turn it on and have a chuckle here and there. So
hell yeah. So anyway, I'll let you go, man. Have a good time. Until next episode.
You too. Yeah. Bye.